For it. Wait for it. Did that work?
Well,
Oh,
yep, the
oh,
video's working.
the
Okay,
video's working.
cool.
That's amazing. Awesome. So,
All
hey,
right.
back us on Patreon. Without further ado, let's unveil this cast. Cast members, please introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are, what you do, where people can find you, and the question of the night. What do I want to know? I want to know your favorite takeout food. That's what I want to
Oh,
know,
hell
damn it.
yeah.
Here we go.
Oh,
So we're
wow.
going to start with Skip. Skip, tell us who you are, where people can find you, some of the things that you are into, and your favorite takeout food.
Well, hello. My name is Skip. I go by Skip's a Keeper on Discord. And somehow, some way, I have become a veteran of these things. And I don't know how that happened, but I'm very thankful. And I am very much looking forward to playing with this cast and crew this evening. Um, as you can tell, I've been in radio. I've got a radio voice, and I'm actually, believe it or not, from Southwest Virginia. So my normal accent is probably going to slip in from time to time in this game. So I'm very excited about actually being able to game about parts about my, my backyard. So I'm really looking forward to that. My favorite takeout food,
Uh huh.
I mean, it's got to be General Sal. If I'm pronouncing that, is it
Ooh.
Sal? So I don't know, but it's really good going into this belly. So
Yeah, South So Appalachia. We gonna figure it all out in time.
there you go. But thanks again for having me on board, and I'm looking forward to doing this. I've listened to some of the podcasts, and
Mm-hmm.
they're absolutely amazing. And I've been wanting to dive into this cipher system and see what it's like. And this is going to be a hoot and a holler, actually.
Oh, good word
Hmm.
choice, sir. That was hot. A hoot and
Nice.
a holler. That is amazing. Oh,
Hmm.
Carl, talk to us, baby. Tell us who you are, where people can find you, blah, 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 and your favorite takeout food.
Hey everyone, I'm Carl, back for a third time, this time by choice rather than getting dragooned into it like last time.
Don't at me like
Um,
that.
Some of us get
now,
dragooned every once in a while, man. It
Yeah.
happens.
it happens. I can be found on Discord at Fizzlemeyer. I do painting and miniature work on Instagram at Dare House Carl. Um, And yeah, I'm here to enjoy trying Old Gods of Appalachia as a player. I found the podcast through the actual Kickstarter for the RPG, um,
Ah,
and
order
uh,
reverse.
and yeah, kind of fell in love with it. So I'm looking forward to it. And it also like struck a chord with me because I grew up like a stone's throw from Pennsylvania mining country.
Mhm.
So I've been in and around those places that they describe. So it's very cool. And in terms of takeout, I have got to go with I have to go stay true to my heart and go with pho. Uh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
There
Fuh.
is nothing quite like it.
Oh,
It's like chicken noodle soup from a completely different culture, but it's just
Uh,
amazingly good.
Oh, pho. Yep, yep. I completely agree. Truth, pho will change your life. Yes. Oh, well, yep. That's fair. That's fair. Bucha, talk to us, baby.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bucho. You have seen me on something like 11 billion streams with the Symphony at this point. I have had to come kicking and screaming onto all of them, clearly. I do painting, like the painting you see behind me on the wall. I write books. Um, I DJ every once in a while,
Mhm.
and you can find all of that at the link tree that will probably be populated at some point in the chat. Let's see. My favorite takeout food has to be it's either Mediterranean,
Oh,
like uh, God, I'm blanking on it now, of course, because of course,
because of course.
or it's Indian, typically like a chicken and shrimp coconut curry, which I also try to make here at home because it's just one of my favorite dishes.
Oh.
Period. So that's usually my go-to.
Oh, I like this. I love where this is going. Yes, yes, yes. And then Evan, tell us all about you, babe. And then tell us your favorite takeout food.
Well, hey there, family. This is Evan Perlman for Old Gods of Appalachia, and I am a writer for the Miskatonic Repository. I have now Dreamhouse is in print as a cool double binding with John Hooks of Wrath and Blood. So if you played the classic scenario The Haunting and you want more, these are both kind of sequels / spiritual sequels. I am a community group project organizer, have done Hometown Horrors Volumes 1 and 2, which are slowly creeping towards print.
Nice.
And In Strange Seas, which we will have an announcement on Trafalgar Day, October 21st, regarding that product and other ways that you can buy it. That's all I'll say for now. And I am one of the Shoggoths on the Miskatonic Repository Convention Council, and we just had that convention, and we all survived, and it was great. Most of us survived. Notably, there was one death mid-game, but they had it coming, so that's fine.
Not they had it coming.
And that's it. And I'm ready. We'll talk about the game and our relationship with the game, but I have listened to all of the Old Gods of Appalachia podcast. I am a fan of it. I enjoy the way they do their work, and I'm excited to see how it translates onto the table. So.
Yes. And your favorite takeout food?
Oh, my favorite takeout. There's a place about 5 minutes away that does really good ramen, and they have a vegetarian one with like the really tight, the like wavy noodles and like marinated mushrooms and bok choy, and you can get like half an egg if you want it in there. Oh, it's tight. It's so good.
Ramen. Oh, amazing. Cast, thank you so much for coming out. Cast has a lot of things happening in real life right now, but they still showed up tonight, which I sincerely appreciate you. I'm going to talk about all of you very briefly behind your backs. So Skip is a high in demand streamer with Symphony. We chase him down all the time. And Skip is actually a benefactor, which is Symphony's highest tiered Patreon backer. So a lot of the things that we're able to get off, say thank you to Skip, because Skip is holding it down. Listen, all the upgrades that you've seen to the flyers recently, y'all can thank Carl for that shit, because y'all know it's not me. Y'all know it's not me. I know at some point y'all looked up and was like, wow, her flyers got really good. You can thank Carl for that. Carl didn't how do I want to phrase this? I didn't go to Carl. Carl came to me and was like, hey, babe, you're doing a lot. Can I help? This is something I enjoy. Please let me help you out. And I humbled myself and was like, yeah, because my flyers are trash. And suddenly they're super sexy. So amen to Carl. I can't believe he added me in public about me dragging him into a GM seat, but that's a true story. Go watch Lovecraft is Dead.
Which was a cool fucking concept too for a game. That was awesome.
Concept. He ran the shit out of that. That's on our YouTube channel right now. Evan, with all of my Call of Cthulhu-ness, is the reason that I'm on the Miskatonic Repository. My very first writing on the Miskatonic Repository was because Evan organized an occupation toolkit, and that is how I learned how to publish on the Miskatonic Repository and get there. I had published elsewhere. I had never done the MR, and like literally now I work for Chaosium, I'm hyping the MR, and that started with Evan. Evan has launched more people, more creators into first-time writing or first-time metal tiers than anybody else I know in the industry right now. Yes, Evan, I told you I was talking about all of y'all behind your back.
It's a hard day for that, Bridgett.
And listen, and I love the ground you walk on, honey, because you are a blessing to this community. You're constantly a blessing to me.
God.
And we all hate Bucho. Let's talk about Daddy right now. Y'all don't know how much Bucho does behind the scenes for Symphony. When I tell you the amount of time Bucho spends auditing my shit, critiquing my shit, supporting me, or holding me through me crying or having a meltdown about something, if I could articulate the amount of shit that Bucho does behind the scenes, y'all would be like, wow, Bucho should be on salary. And to be honest with you, he should be, but I can't afford him. And here we go. So content warnings have been discussed.
Get on Patreon.
Put it on Patreon. Fund Bucho.
I'm going to start up my OnlyFans this week.
Honey, in that suit, you should. Content warnings have been discussed with the cast and crew. We have reviewed red lines. X card is in play. X's can be sent via private message. No judgment passed. No questions asked. We will also be using the green, yellow, red traffic method, which honestly is my personal favorite safety tool. With that being said, I am getting the hell out of the way because I've never played this game. I've never played Cypher System, and I'm super excited to see what the hell it looks like. Evan, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. This is Old Gods of Appalachia in the Cypher System. This must sound wonderful on a microphone. But the book came with this gigantic ass poster. What the fuck? I can't orient this shit. A gigantic ass poster with a map of Appalachia on the back. So if you like that kind of stuff, go buy the book. The book itself is a beautiful physical artifact, and you will enjoy it. I have never played Cypher System. If you had asked me what system I would choose to run a slightly cosmic horror game in the 1920s, I feel like 10 times out of 10, I'm going to go with Call of Cthulhu. But Monty Cook swooped in there and was like, hey, man, we're doing games for literally all of the podcasts. And old God was like, okay, great. So I don't like learning new systems. It's hard for me. I have trouble when there's a lot of special rules. Fortunately, as far as I understand, Cypher is fairly straightforward. Fortunately, also, we have Carl, who is an expert, or at least a veteran of the Cypher system. So the way it's going to go is I'm going to do my best. I do not have a system reference document in front of me. We're going to do my best. And if Carl feels like something is way off that is detrimental to the game, I trust him and have deputized him to jump in. But otherwise, we're going to do, as fast as loose as we need to, as long as nobody is, being screwed out of their spotlight or whatever the case may be.
And then we will make fun of you for not knowing it. Yes.
Oh, honey, you cannot touch me with that. People are like, man, like, you should watch me run combat in Cthulhu sometimes. People are like, there are rules for this, and I'm like, that's nice. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's nice.
If it works for your table, it works for your table.
Yeah, whatever. Exactly. So, all right. So we will dive right in. The setting of this game is Stonega, Virginia. It took me about 8 hours to figure out how to pronounce that. And Stonega is a quintessential coal mining town tucked all the way into the westernmost corner of Virginia, right next to Stone Gap, which is where it gets its name from, which lets you pass through the mountains to Kentucky. Nestled in a hollow between hills and woods, the town's got all the necessities provided by the criminal 1- and 2-story houses in rows, a commissary, a schoolhouse, a hospital, the Stonega Roman Catholic Church, and a rather large cemetery. For a coal mining town, it's got quite a lot to boast about, but one thing rises above all others. There's a 2-story community center and theater. It shows not only the latest movie releases, but hosts live performances as well. Everything good that happens in Stonega happens at the community center. You've got dances, theater, pie eating contests, first kisses, spinning circles, anything else you can think of. For the most part, Stonega is a safe little town, or as safe as a town can be, that's built on the spine of coal mining land. It's got the usual fights and hardships and mining injuries and deaths, but for the most part, people here watch out for each other all right and do their best to take good care. So, let's get to know you all, and I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves, your characters, and tell me why you are here in Stonega. You could have lived here all your life. You could be visiting. I will leave it up to you. But what brings you here on this particular day when there will be a celebration going on at the community center? And we'll start with Janice.
Oh, hi. So, my name is Janice Hollows. I have lived in Stonega all of my life, which puts me at 24 years of living here in this area. My family is from here. My mother died when I was young, and well, you guys know about the mining accident. My pa he didn't make it out of that. So, I've been here for some time. I really love this community. I love supporting this community in every possible way that I can. I am a very petite Black woman that has short curly hair that I never really quite know what to do with. So I usually just kind of stuff it under a hat like you see it is now. But I do everything that I can to ease the suffering of others here in this community. Times are hard. Money is really hard to come by. And so many people have suffered so much. So you usually always see me with a cast iron skillet, because if I can cook somewhere, which is what I'm doing here at the event, I will always stop by your house and I can talk to you and I can cook for you and we can share time together. We can break bread. If I'm not at your house cooking, I'm always cooking at the local church. I sing in the choir. I'm a soprano, but actually after I hit puberty, I'm more of an alto. There's only 6 of us in the choir anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'm actually not a very good singer. And I don't necessarily have a job here. I didn't study much. But what I do enjoy doing is just odd jobs anywhere that I can. So despite the fact that I'm a very small birdie girl, I'm very strong and I'm a great hunter. And a lot of my prey ends up in your kitchen, and a lot of your stories end up with me. And I think that's a fulfilling way to live life. Thanks.
Beautiful. 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 Carl Lee Stanley, what brings you to Stonega?
Well, my name is Carl Lee Stanley, and I am from here initially. I actually used to be friends with Janice way back in the day. But I, being the son of a sharecropper, decided to get my hands dirty in other ways and decided to travel around Appalachia, peddling my language and my words to anyone who would listen. I found this town to be a bit stifling for my creativity. And so I have made my way around the borders of Virginia, and recently came into, how do I put this? I have a group of orphans who look up to me.
Hmm.
And I am now trying to not panhandle, but I am trying to raise funds for them around the area, trying to find a way to support them until they can find permanent homes, which, you know, many of them may not.
Great.
So I wear a nice button-up shirt, even though it's a little dingy from wear. It's one of the only ones I've got. I try to keep my suit as clean as possible, but typically leave the coat at home, preferring just the slacks and the vest, a very slim kind of, it still projects a kind of attitude that I like to project. And I have a pocket watch that I keep very clean and very tightly wound here in my vest pocket.
Where's that watch from, Carl?
The watch is from my father.
Excellent. Excellent. Donald Lawrence.
So Donald Lawrence is a young kid, probably just turned 19. He is not as strong, or for a while he was not as strong or didn't have the endurance of a lot of the other kids in the town, which somewhat ironically kept him out of the mines. But while he was not there, he still had to do something useful. So he ended up basically reading any newspaper he could get his hands on. It kind of became obsessed with becoming a world-renowned reporter. And he had a bit of a stutter that he had to kind of get over, and he did so by listening to the radio and adopting that like, it's not Midwest, it's the
like Mid-Atlantic.
that classic Mid-Atlantic accent.
Yeah. Tonight on WNBC.
Yeah, very much so. So you all know he's from here. He's you know his family, and brothers and sisters are still around. But every now and again, when you can tell when he gets nervous, he drops into that accent because he's trying to be precise about it. But he basically lives at the community center. If there's a movie, he's there. He's read so much about the town, read every old book he could get his hands on in the library, read every scrap of old newspaper. He's become kind of convinced that there's something not quite right about the town. Whether that's true or not, or he's just a 19-year-old with an overactive imagination, remains to be seen. But
it's just silly. Of course, it's perfectly fine. And Clyde Bascom. Oh, sorry.
No, that was it.
Yeah.
Well, Clyde is about 34 years old. He stands about 5'8", about 210 when he's wet. Basically, he doesn't. Clyde's a really nice guy, but there's just something about him when he talks to people that it just makes him a little bit unnerved, and he hadn't quite figured out what it was. Now his mama always tell him it's just your personality, son. Once they get to know you and they get through there, they're going to be your best friends. And I always listen to mama because mama knew what was going on. Mom was always like the healer of the town. Anybody who had a cut, a bruise, a cough, anything like that, they just come to mama. And when mama passed on, before she died, she took about a year, and she told me exactly what to do, how to help the folks of this good town. And I tell you what, that's why I'm here at this little shindig, is to make sure that, one, there's no cuts, bruises, anything that needs to be tended. And I just like to sit a spell and just, talk with some of the people around and maybe maybe they'll just get to know me a little bit better.
Well, I hope we have the chance to get to know you a little better tonight. So, what we are going to do is we are going to arrive at the community center. There's going to be a dance tonight. The musicians are setting up. This is a band that those of you who have been around a little bit know. This is Fiddlin' Opaline and the Shape Notes, led by Opaline Leanie Reeves. You call her Leanie. And you know that Leanie has the fastest hands and the sassiest tunes this side of the West Virginia line. She grew up around here and she helps out at the general store, but what you know of her is that it's music that lights her up. And we'll walk around a little bit. You can tell me, as they're setting up, what kind of things would you be doing? And I will introduce some folks around town, and you can kind of tell me. I will pick, who do you know? Everybody picks, okay, I've got a background with this person. I know this person. So does anybody want to claim a relationship with Leanie?
Well, Leanie, she used to come up with her daddy to get a little fixing here and there. She always seemed to scuff her knees or doing something while she was working. And she would always come up, talk with Mama and Daddy for a little while, and just kind of got to know her that way. She doesn't find me as, I guess, uninterested as some other folks. So we've chatted from time to time, and I find her a very nice person.
Great. So do you go up and talk to her when you arrive, or you leave her to set up?
I'm going to let her set up, and as soon as she gets done with whatever she's doing, I'm going to kind of walk over there and give her a good evening and see if there's anything that I can assist her with.
She says, "Evening, Clyde. Sure, you can grab those. Help Virgil over there with the drums. He's got to set something up there." So. And she gives you a sort of an ambiguous smile.
And I'll kind of head over and try to set up the drums, even though I don't know what I'm doing. I'll lend a helping hand. I don't mind doing it at all.
Right. And Janice, well, you said you're likely to try and cook, or you've got your stuff with you. So what do you do when you're here? How do you spend the time before the dancing starts?
Well, I guess my reverse question is, what is the food setup for events like this? Is this something where it's more of a potluck type situation where people bring food? Is it one of those things where the community center has a small kitchen with wood burning stove? What's the food situation here typically?
There is a small kitchen there. I would like you to tell me though, is it catered? Is there space for you to slide in? Do you have to kind of elbow people out of the way to do it? What's the situation there?
Oh, I am really feeling the potluck vibe for this type of community. So people who have their signature dishes from, whatever their cultural, ancestral, whatever background is, so-and-so's grandmother's that cherry pie has been around for the last 200 years, that type of situation. But there is a small kitchen there for certain foods to be warmed up or to be served on site. So, it's not my kitchen. It's not. I come in, I help when I can. And this is just one of those days where I would be there helping. So there's probably a pot of greens that, mother so-and-so brought, a pot of collard greens that are probably on a stove right now, that she's keeping the wood churning on that one and she's keeping it turned. But it's Janice. Somebody's child who isn't being watched over is probably on her hip or on her hand, and she's teaching them the ins and out of this particular kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's so it's not a big kitchen, and there are two women there when you arrive, but they make room for you, and they're happy to see. Well, one of them's happy to see you. The other one's kind of aloof. The first woman is Effie Thomas. She is tall, strong. She's got a long black braid, and she is kind of fussing over her apple stack cake, which is, as far as you know, world record holding quality apple stack cake. And you know her from here, you know her from the choir. She has a beautiful voice. You found yourself just enjoying singing with her, enjoying hearing her sing. And she also has kind of she knows everybody's business, right? That comes with the territory. You've just come to accept that, perhaps. But she knows maybe a little more than she ought to. And the other woman here, who is standing like a guard over those greens, is Miss Odessa. Her full name is Odessa Winburn Malloy, but you would sooner be set on fire and dragged down to hell than call her anything but Miss Odessa.
Understood.
So she is everyone's granny and no one's sweetheart, and that is just fine by her. So any fixing, cursing, magic making needed, people go to her and she takes care of them.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, so I'm in that kitchen helping out. It looks like I've been bumped off of the greens, which is perfectly fine. I was just filling in because it's Miss Odessa has it under control. The second Miss Effie Thomas starts going on about the state of the apple stack cakes, I'm going to kind of gently depart, and then whatever, I'll say an 8-year-old girl by the name of Mary. Her mother is God knows doing whatever. Her father is God knows. They're here, but Mary slips away often, and she usually ends up with me somehow. I don't know how Mary is always here, but Mary is always here. And instead of trying to directly encourage Miss Effie Thomas about the quality of her world-renowned cakes, I'm going to start telling Mary about the cakes. Have you heard about Miss Effie Thomas's cakes? You have not. Oh my goodness! And I'm going to pick her up, and so I'm passively complimenting and building and edifying this person up without directly doing it.
That's nice. That's real nice. And meanwhile, this poor 8-year-old is like, "Can I just get a piece of cake?" Oh my God. He's like, "Yes, ma'am. It sure looks good, ma'am."
Slapping her hand anytime she reaches for something she shouldn't have. Be so much easier if I could just kick her out altogether, but here we are.
Carl Lee, how do you pass the time before the music kicks off?
Carl Lee does what he always does when he comes to a new town, even though this is not a new town for him. This is the kind of proper opportunity where he can get a feel for the vibe of the town. He's been gone. Well, hold on. So, Janice, how old are you?
I think that bullshit I made up was 24.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that'll work.
I can age up or down if you want me to. Listen.
No, I can make this happen.
Okay.
So I would say that I left 10 years ago, around the age of 15 or 16.
Perfect.
Because father wanted me to be a farmer, and I had no interest in that. So I got used to kind of blending in with the kids early on. And so I'd walk around, introduce myself to the older folks, get in good with some of the who were obviously the leaders in town, whether they be religious or governmental. And I'm doing the same thing here. I'm walking around the community center. I'm smelling the food. I'm looking at the families that are hanging out, and I'm kind of seeing what's changed in the decade that I've been gone, and just kind of sussing things out. I'm pleasant. I introduce myself to people. Some remember me, some don't. But yeah, I'm just kind of stalking around the community center, not in a menacing way, just a very pleasant, a stroll.
And one of the people that you come across as you're kind of walking around is Dion Beatty. And when you were kids, Dion, you and Dion used to hang out. You used to talk about how you were going to get out of Stonega and go see the world, right? He used to take you up to the tracks, and he used to watch the trains go by. He'd say, I'm going to go on that one, and I'm going to end up in Los Angeles, and that one's going to take me to New York. But I don't know that he's ever actually left. Maybe he got as far as, I don't know, a couple counties over. And now he's a foreman at the mine, and he just kind of imagines where he might have gone. He's Natalie dressed, kind of mirrors you in that way. He's a little bit reserved, does not give the impression that he's eager to please. But you've heard in the times that you've talked to folks from back here and the time you've been around that he's still got that fire to go somewhere and go to do something, but that it's kind of curdled a little bit. And what he really wants is to do something that'll give him a little bit of power. And he's not too particular.
I would like to sneak up behind him a little bit. I don't think that he's clocked me, but I've clocked him.
Sure.
He looks a little different. He does look a little more of a sourpuss these days. But because we were such good friends, I remember this aspect of him. And so not only did I leave Virginia, but there were a few times where I went further north up the coast or further west or whatever. And so everywhere I would go, I would try and find something unique to that particular place in case I ever came home.
Hmm.
And so I'm going to go up behind him. I'm imagining him sitting at a table, and I'm just going to lean down by his shoulder and go, Dion the Dreamer.
He jumps a little bit and then looks annoyed at himself for getting startled, and he gives you a moderate smile. Says, "Well, Carly, I'll be damned.
How are you, friend? How are you?
Abiding. How are you?
I'm good. I have things for you."
Ah, do you indeed? Well,
And so out of my pocket, I pull a little bag of trinkets. They're not much, like there's pennies or there's little metal things, but they're all stamped with the names and places of the places that I've been to, like matchboxes or whatever. And so I just put it in his lap, say, well, the world is still waiting for you.
now, Carl, are you aiming to be friendly with this? Is this a gesture of kindness?
It's
or are
total
you
kind.
trying to
Yeah,
rub it in?
there's no menace whatsoever.
Okay.
None. Yeah.
I don't think that by default he's going to take it that way. So I think we're going to
That's
try
fair.
to set up a task here. A task is a role.
Okay.
And this is, sort of a convincing action or something like that. So the three basic, I don't know what you call them, aspects you might have, right?
Might, speed, and intellect.
Intellect. So this seems like an intellect task.
Okay.
The default level here is going to be 3, which means that when you roll a d20, you're going to be trying to get a 9 or higher.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So you have the difficulties are a little wonky, but you always have your level and then 3 times that as your target number.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do, if you wish to adjust that, is you can use effort, or you may have something on your sheet that gives you some kind of asset or advantage that can lower that difficulty. Or you can just take your chances at a 9. So,
I was looking at that. I was looking at encouragement while you maintain this ability through ongoing inspiring oration, but it says your allies within short range ease one of the following task types. But I don't think that would work here.
yeah, I think it's more meant for like intra-party
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm just going to make it a straight roll because I think I don't think that Carl would be expecting that response.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair.
So you roll a d20 and
no, got an 8.
Ouch. 1 off.
Okay. And his smile tightens up a little bit, and he takes the things that you've dropped in his lap and puts them on the table, and he says, "Well, that's mighty thoughtful of you. Must be nice getting out to all those places."
Some days are better than others, sure, but I thought about you often, and I wanted to bring you something back.
Sorry, one of my children is knocking on my door.
Oh, you better go
Well,
handle
get rid
your
of them.
family if you need to. Listen.
Hold on, I'm gonna go yell. I'm gonna go yell at
a
a child real quick. Sorry.
Go be a good dad.
I mean, Chad did say that barbecue children are delicious.
Holy hell. So that's
I'm not saying nothing.
I'm
just saying.
Is that molasses based or vinegar based?
Oh.
All right, sorry guys. This is what happens when you are, doing it at home.
Listen, don't apologize for having a family and being amazing at what you do.
Well, thank you. So, yeah. So I apologize, Buddha. I missed the last thing that you said because I was growing steadily more horrified and mortified. But
I just said, some days are better than others. But I thought about you often while I was out there and wanted to bring you something back from my travels.
And he picks up one of the pieces, maybe like a souvenir penny type thing, and he says, "Well, I thought about you too while you were gone," and it's a little ambiguous there how he says that. But and we'll move on to I think Donald, right? Yeah. So what would you do in the time before the music starts?
So Donald is definitely going to be like kind of moving around at the edges, just like looking at people, furtively taking notes in a notebook that he like constantly keeps with him. but then I think one of the things that he'll notice is that it being a big social event with a lot of food, um, people have brought a lot of their pets with them. So
Mm.
I think he's gonna get distracted because he does also like animals, and he likes kind of traipsing through the woods on his own. But I think he's going to try and steal some he's going to not steal because this is a town event, but he's going to take a couple choice pieces of chicken from the communal pile that the dogs wouldn't get. The dogs get the leavings afterwards usually, but he's gonna get them some actual like good food up front.
And so you're taking chicken off the pile and you're carrying it outside
Yeah,
to the dogs, the street dogs, I guess. Street dogs or your own like pets.
I figured people would be bringing their pets to
Yeah,
an event
okay.
like this.
That's fair. That's fair. And you do that, and you're kind of feeding them, and a woman comes over to you. She's dressed pretty plain. She's got pants and a flannel shirt, and doesn't look like she's kind of fancied herself up at all. But she gives you this glowing look. She's a little bit older. She's a little bit kind of looks like she's been through things a little bit, but she's cheerful. And says, "Well, sir, that is mighty kind of you."
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to. Are these your dogs? They were here and they looked so hungry.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, they're. I guess all animals are mine, I guess, or I'm theirs. And she introduces. Yeah, she doesn't know if you remember her, but she says, "Aurelia Norman."
Ooh, I like that
Oh,
name.
yes, I do. I do remember you. Pleased to meet you again, Miss Norman.
And your name was? I'm sorry.
Oh, Donald.
Oh,
Eustace Lawrence's
oh, that's right.
oldest.
Oh, the Lawrence boy. Yeah. I remember. You all had a like a mastiff or something about 15 year ago, didn't you?
We did, Duke.
Yeah, Duke. I remember old
Dude.
Dookie. Yeah, you know how it is. You remember the animal, you don't remember the owner sometimes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah. So well, it's good to see you. I'm glad that someone's thinking about our friends out here.
You too. Oh, how could they not? And he's just petting dogs.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. He's gotten
Yeah.
distracted from his scoop to uncover the evil in the town.
Yeah, and she's like talking to the dogs and kind of like already kind of forgetting you exist. She's like, "Oh, isn't he a good man? That's so kind. You like that chicken? That's good chicken." So, and from outside, well, with the jingling of the collars and the happy wagging of the dogs, you hear the band strike up, and the first song is kind of a sweet melody, and everybody who is sitting down or futzing around in the kitchen starts to join in, and people are dancing and they're tapping their feet and they're clapping. Do you guys dance? I wonder. No, Carl Lee Stanley does not dance. Carly Stanley does not dance. I mean, he'll stand on the sidelines and he'll clap and he'll encourage people, but like dancing has never really been his thing. But he'll get involved for sure. Yeah. Okay, great. So you're dancing along or not dancing along, getting involved to your own comfort level. And the first tune ends and the second tune begins. And this is a little more lively with the intention, I think, being that now people are a little warmed up, right? They're ready to go, and you see Miss Odessa comes and stands Carl Lee next to you. Doesn't really say anything to you. She's got, her arms crossed, but not in a disapproving way, just like in a kind of, this is how I enjoy parties. I stand here with my arms crossed.
Yep.
And Aurelia comes in and kind of pokes her head around and decides that she can probably afford to bring one of the dogs in with her. So she kind of, and it comes after her and she starts, leading it over to the food, which she's known to do sometimes. And then, Leanie is up there on the stage. She's really leading into it. She's got her papa's fiddle and she's,
fiddling up a storm. Dion has gotten up, and he's kind of looking around for somebody to dance with him. Has not found a partner at the moment. But he'll get there eventually, perhaps. And Effie, was dancing, and Leanie kind of calls her up, and she jumps up on stage and starts singing along. And it's really nice, and everyone's having a good time for a couple of minutes. But then, from one note to the next, just about, Leanie goes into a new song. And it doesn't really sound like any other song you've ever heard. You've heard all the fiddle hits, all the spirituals and everything. And this is something new. And there's like one moment where she's playing by herself, and then the other members of the band look shocked and join in with her. Note perfect. Everybody on the same everybody on the same note, everybody playing this, perfectly well. And the first thing that you notice when that happens is Dion bumps into someone as though he didn't see them there, and he starts rubbing his eyes. Leanie is kind of working herself into a frenzy. She's kind of fiddling away, but really seems locked into what she's doing. And Aurelia, you see that she was trying to get the dog over to the food table, but you see her kind of look down at her hands, and they're trembling, and she kind of looks a little bit alarmed, and she hides them in her pocket. And Carly, I would like you to make a intellect defense roll. This is a level 4 roll, so your target number
It's 12.
unless you have some kind of way to lower that, is 12.
Yeah, I'm still going to say that my defenses are down, and so
Okay.
I'm just going to do a straight roll because
Okay.
I've got no reason to feel like I've got to be.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Wow.
So that's a 1.
Okay, great.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
Bucho
Okay.
coming out swinging tonight, honey.
yeah.
Mhm.
Let's
So
go.
this is Carl, quick rule check. So am I obligated to do a GM intrusion on a 1, or can I not? Because I don't have anything in mind that's worse than what's about to happen anyway.
Yeah, you can choose not. You can choose not to.
Great.
But in a normal game, one of the things to remember about a GM intrusion is that if you get a GM intrusion, the player who basically procced it gets 1 XP and gets to give a point of XP to another player.
Okay. Okay. So as a point of order, the XP system in this is a little more than my brain is capable of handling tonight, so I'm leaving that aside.
Yep.
It does let players, normally it lets players help each other out a little bit. It lets them add things to the narrative in a formal way, but we're just going to do that. You guys can always suggest things. So,
Evan,
yes, sir.
when you were describing, when she started playing a little bit more, I guess, fast paced, and the band kind of hesitated for a moment, and then just looking around and seeing the reactions from everybody else, is there a way I can use my mystic sense?
Oh, you want to tell me what that does?
Yeah, I can sense whether there's something mystical or magical going on in situations where its presence is not obvious.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you
Okay.
do that? Yeah, let's do that.
I'm going to study an object or location closely for about a minute. So I'll kind of be watching her play the fiddle
Yeah.
to get a feel for the mystical touches of work. That it doesn't tell me how to roll it. That's what it just tells me as part of what I can do. It's my special ability.
Great. So hang on to that. You're going to do that.
Okay.
But in the minute while you're observing, some things are happening. So you don't have to, that just happens, right?
That just happens.
Cool.
It looks like it doesn't any other explanation.
Cool. No, that's great. So Carl Lee, you catch sight of your face in a mirror up on the wall, and you notice that your hair has gone white.
Oh.
Yeah, like not like just saw a horrible monster white, but like grayish whites, salt and pepper to gray to white.
So being the 25-year-old that I am, I know that something is wrong. I appear to be trained in understanding magic.
Okay.
So how does this work? Would I know that this is magic?
I think you would. So I think what is happening here is not paying your senses of magic as you normally understand it.
Okay.
But you certainly understand that this is something unusual.
Okay. Well, now my defenses are up, or at least I am alarmed at what's going on. I'm going to feel my hair. Does it feel different, or is it just look different?
It feels a little thinner. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of it doesn't come out in clumps, but some of it, like when you comb a little too much, and some of it comes out like from the top and the front as you run your fingers through it. Janice, you are dancing at the start of this, or what are you up to?
Yeah, so the second the kitchen was cleared and we hid, she would have definitely been dancing, and she would have been targeting people who were looking for dates, or people that looked like they wanted to dance but were afraid to actually commit to it. She's one of those butterflies that runs around. So she would have caught Dion at some point, and then she's not going to be pulling people like Clark off of the wall who don't want to dance, but the ones who are like, I kind of want to. Yeah. Those would be her targets.
So if it's already, so the person that Dion bounces off, I think, is you. Then.
Okay.
And can you also make a defense roll, an intellect defense roll?
I would prefer not to.
But I'm sorry. Yeah, let's make a deal. You do this now.
Okay.
And then something bad will happen later.
Okay. All right. Yep. Okay. That sounds like a great idea. That sounds wonderful. Okay. Janice
now,
hit an 8.
Okay. So you're actually not. Yeah, that's a fail also. I was going to say you could use effort, but we'll come back to that.
Okay.
All right. So he bumps into you, and you kind of take a stumble back, and all of a sudden your leg and your hip kind of hurts, but not like a bruise, more like arthritis as you stumble back.
Oh God. So I'm stumbling back, and just suddenly everything feels weaker, disconnected, not as strong.
Yeah, your leg, you feel like all of a sudden you've got arthritis or some kind of joint pain there. Yeah.
Okay, so I went and I immediately looked down at my hip and my leg to try to figure out, did I get stung by a bee? Was I bitten by a snake? But I think just that sudden onrush of pain, she's going to wind up apologizing to Dion, like, oh, Dion, baby, I'm so sorry. Give me. And then I'm going to very quickly get as close as I can to the closest picnic bench to try to ease myself down onto it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you do that. And Dion spins around and is like, who was that? Oh, God damn it. Donald, what are you up to at the outbreak of this mysterious shenanigans?
I think I was kind of keeping to the edges, but I think I was also I'm very tuned into the entertainment events. So I think I was really listening intently.
Sure. Perfect.
And just kind of, almost not even thinking about it, just kind of listening and leaning in.
Yeah. And so you're up there, you're watching Leanie, on the fiddle, you're watching Effie singing. And while Effie's singing, you notice, that her long black hair starts to turn white at the temples, and her voice starts to get cracked and strained a little bit, which you've never heard from her unless she had a cold. And then she even is kind of shrinks down a little bit, gets a little bit hunched over. I would like an intellect defense roll from you, sir.
Sure. What difficulty?
It's at a level 4, so your target number is 12 unless you want to do something to fend it off.
I will spend a couple of points of intellect to put a level of effort into it.
Great. And can you just describe how that works, what you're doing?
Yeah, so one of the things you can do in this game is to apply effort equal to the amount that you're allowed to. So since we're starting characters, it's 1. But it's 3 points of effort to reduce it by 1 level. So you do that if you have something called edge in the attribute. that reduces your expenditure. So some people can do it a little bit easier.
Okay.
I don't have an edge in intellect, but I have a decent pool, so I'm just going to try and make it a bit easier.
So what would happen if you did have an edge? Like how would you end up using that?
So, for example, I have a point of edge in my might pool. So if I was spending from my might pool, if I was doing this exact same thing for a might roll, I would only have to spend 2 points.
Okay.
The
Gotcha.
edge
So like if you had if you had 2 edges, it would drop down your effort by 1.
Mhm.
By
Gotcha.
one. Okay.
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah.
And edge is something that is a little bit is difficult to get. You do get more of it as you advance in the game, but
Sure.
It also importantly applies to the cost of abilities because some abilities cost points.
Right. And
Okay.
so like
Makes sense.
1 point of edge can make like a 1 point ability free.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you are spending from your intellect pool to reduce to use effort,
Yep.
right? You're lowering the level from 4 to 3, which means your target number goes from 12 to 9.
Okay.
Right?
And I roll a 5, so apparently I'm
So
real
even
interested in watching this happen.
Yeah, y'all are rolling d20s, right? Like you're not still on the d10s.
Yes.
Yeah. Roll dice with friends can roll right the fuck home.
Yeah.
Like,
Bruh.
This
it
is- it's ugly.
It's so ugly right now.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's fair.
It's not pretty.
It's not.
That's fair. And so you're, watching her and listening to her and maybe starting to sense that something is wrong. So you put your guard up, right?
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter because you look down and your skin has become wrinkled and papery and liver spotted on your hands, your arms.
Wow.
You feel the breeze a little more keenly than you used to. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where we are, folks.
Great.
What do you do?
I jump up on stage immediately.
Mhm.
And is there a microphone?
Let's say no.
Okay.
Let's say it's an analog thing.
Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to pretend like I'm joining in with the festivities
Okay.
and clap and stomp and try to jump in front of, is it Leanie who is playing?
Yep. Leanie.
Leanie,
I'm going
yeah.
to try and jump in front of her and like clap, like annoyingly trying to get her attention and get her to stop.
Okay. All right. So let's see that. I guess that would fall out as an intellect task also.
Great. I have a 16 pool in that and 1 edge. So like if I roll for intellect, I can reduce the effort by 1. So if like this is a 12, then I would just have to beat an 11. Do I understand that correctly?
The level starts out as 4.
Mm-hmm.
So then for every step you take it down, that takes 3 off your target number because the target number is the level times 3.
Gotcha.
So you'd go from 12 to 9, and then if you want to do another one after that, I think it would be 6.
Okay.
Depending on how many efforts you're using and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm going to use my edge.
Okay.
And so what effort is this going to be?
So that's
what difficulty?
Then if you're using 1 effort, that's going to take it down to a target number of 9.
Of 9. Yeah.
Okay.
Level of 3, target number of 9.
Ooh.
Yay! Finally.
All right.
10.
Yeah. And you are just by, kind of launching a musical attack at her, which is her strongest skill, right? So good for you there. There are many easier ways you could have done that.
Sure.
By launching a musical attack, you managed to interrupt her, right? She just can't keep playing when you're so hideously intentionally offbeat.
Yeah.
And as a former drummer myself, I can tell you that would absolutely drive me up the fucking wall. So good job.
DJ bass player. Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah. So well done. And she stops and says, what the hell?
As soon as she stops, I'm going to put my hand on her shoulder and I'm going to lean in and say, honey, I think there's something wrong. My hair just turned white and there are other people who are being affected. I think it's the music.
She's what's the matter? Don't you like it? Look, it's
The music's great.
So nice. And she goes to start playing again.
No. I'm going to show her the other people who are clearly physically affected and say, these people didn't look like that 2 minutes ago. don't play that song.
Lord.
Please don't play that song. Whatever it is imbued with something.
Oh, all right. Oh, Effie. Oh my God. And Effie like is standing there looking lost and horrified. I'm so sorry, folks. I don't know. I've had that song in my head ever since I got the fiddle back from the repairman. I don't know. I guess we'll try to go on.
We could try to play something else. Maybe let the band take over for a while. Do you have a different fiddle you could use, or is that your only one?
No, this is it. Sorry. Yeah, and we'll go back to Clyde, right? And describe your thing. So it tells you
Well,
when something is going on.
it tells me something's mystical or magical going on, and I also have a skill called identifying magic.
Okay.
I don't know if that would come into play here. Uh, Maybe go hand in hand, but he'll just kind of be sitting there watching everything, listening, and just kind of looking around and seeing if he can kind of identify what exactly just happened.
Yeah. So again, I think when we're thinking of magic, we're thinking more of like the folk traditions and that kind of
Right.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you definitely sense on the mystical side of things that something is off
Mm-hmm.
here. Something
Okay.
is. I would even go so far as to say that some people have this synesthesia, right? Where they kind of visualize sound or whatever. And for a minute, you thought you were having one of those kind of experiences because Leanie was up there when she started playing that new song, and you kind of saw these like waves of sort of dark, greenish black shot with gold, kind of undulating through the room. And you're like, well, that's an interesting experience. But now something clicks for you. And there's definitely some connection between the fiddle and what's going on here.
Well, Clyde will kind of walk up and see Carl and her talking on stage and said, ma'am, I play fiddle a little bit on my own back home. I could take a look at it and see maybe something's off tune.
Sure, yeah. I just had it out to the Luthier the other day. It's a fella named Pollard Bales. He fixed it up nice for me. It sounded so sweet afterwards.
It sounds fantastic. No doubt about it.
I don't mind. If you don't mind, I'd like to take a look at it. Maybe it's just a little bit off. I heard something when you first started, and then it clicked back in. But if you don't mind, I can take a look. If not, I understand.
Oh yeah, of course. And she hands it over and says, "You don't think he'd done something to it, do you?"
Probably not, but it's always good to check. You just never know. Some of these times these strings get a little loose. We can take a look at it though.
While this is happening, I'm going to go to the band and kind of like prompt them to continue playing so that the party doesn't stop. I don't want the vibe to die. I also don't want the people to die. So So I will try to get them back into the
minus Leanie and minus Effie the singer. They do their best. It's like a drum and a I don't know, whatever the other instruments would be, some kind of banjo perhaps. Maybe a cello. I don't know, not a cello. Yeah, would they have a stand-up bass? I guess, right?
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
I
like it.
Yeah.
So that's going on, and it is helping to keep a little bit of keep the panic away, right? People are not really dancing. Frankly, people have noticed that all around the room, some folks have visibly aged. Things are going on, but there's not stampeding for the doors, and everybody's kind of everybody's kind of looking over at Miss Odessa, and she's still standing where she was. But now she looks grayer, she looks older. She's kind of trying really not to show anything, but squinting a little bit. Clyde, you and Miss Odessa go back a ways, right? You know her.
Oh yeah. She and Mom are good friends.
Yeah, and she looks at you and gives you just a very small like, come here.
Ma'am, be right back, and I'll kind of walk over and speak. Yes, ma'am.
Clyde, you notice the things going on here?
Yeah, kind of stood out. It just something didn't sound right, and I just kind of got that feeling, you know, just looking around. I was going to look at the fiddle and see if it was coming from that, but I hadn't had a chance to look at it yet.
Yeah. And are you holding the fiddle at this moment?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And she takes a look at it and holds it up, and then she kind of like squeezes her eyes, and the physical changes that have taken place in her kind of reverse. Her hair lightens up, her eyes look clear again. She's, well, your instincts are right, boy. Can't say I know who it is that caused this or what it is, but it's definitely related to this. Now, did I hear Leanie say that she had this thing fixed?
Yeah, she did. I didn't catch the gentleman's name. I was kind of just more worried about the fiddle itself. But yes, she had it done the other day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if I were a clever young man like you, I might look into the person, the person who fixed this up. Fiddles don't often curse themselves, in my experience.
Mm-hmm. Mama always said it has to come from somebody and not something.
Well, your mama was a smart lady.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of reaches over and grabs your chin. She says, yeah, you got a lot of your mama in you. Think you'd be all right.
I hope so.
Which is like the biggest compliment that she's ever given anyone in public.
It's a big day.
So Clyde, we'll stick with you, right? You've just been deputized by the granny of Stonega, Virginia, to solve this, right? To prove your worth. You know,
No pressure.
Yeah,
no
terrible
pressure.
Detriment should you fail. So, you know, what do you do now, bud?
I'm going to walk back over and say, where did you get this replayer? I'm so sorry. I didn't hear that part.
Oh, it's a fella named Pollard Bales. He's a traveling luthier. And if you look at her kind of blank, she says, it means he fixes fiddles.
Mm. Do you know where he's set up?
Well, I guess if he's staying in town, he might have been at one of the boarding houses.
Well, I looked over. It looks like it's all right. Well, I'm gonna go talk to him and see if maybe he's got some tips or something since you're playing, and I'm just kind of just sitting here watching the crowd. Maybe he installed something that he didn't bother to tell you about. I don't know, but I'm gonna go maybe have a little chat with him and see.
Yeah, that would be all right.
Mm-hmm.
You get it all sorted out, will you?
I'll be glad to. Glad to.
I like it. Tip of the hat there.
Mm-hmm.
Great. All right. Who's next? Who's got to move?
I know Janice, after I am back on my feet and I'm feeling just like this dull ache that's still running through my hips and my legs. Visibly, I think the thing that stands out to me the most is the fact that Clark's hair went completely white on him. And I'm feeling this, sensation in my leg. I'm watching people stumble. So what I'm going to do is kind of almost do like a temperature of the environment right now. Okay, the music just started back up, but people aren't really dancing. There's some discomfort. There's some weirdness. And then I'm immediately going to like, I tell you what, instead of looking from a big picture, let's go where I belong, which is in the trenches. And I am going to make a point to speak to every single soul with a beating heart at this party and figure out who all was affected. Is this 50% of our town? Is this a quarter of it? Is it certain people? But she is not going to stop until she checks in with every single individual here.
Yeah.
And as she's doing this, she hears something in her head that hasn't been there for 10, 11 years. And it's Clark's voice. Janice, what's going on here?
So, hard stop. Is this something... So this is where Bridgett is personally struggling with just the game right now.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know my reaction level to things right now because we all have magic on our sheet, but like, is this something that I
A
go,
little bit.
Sure.
whoa, let's all freak out? Or is this like, okay,
Mhm.
this is some weird shit. Let's go solve a Scooby-Doo. So I'm still learning the parameters here.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
are you basically saying I'm getting telepathically connected?
Yeah,
with-
I've got a thing that's called inside voice.
Okay.
And so basically I
Yeah,
can
you
use
do.
my voice. I can speak into the mind of someone I choose within short range. Communication is two-way. Other party must be willing and able to communicate. But I figure like with our past, maybe you might still have that open a little bit.
Yeah.
You can have more than one active contact at once, but you must establish contact with each target individually. Each contact lasts up to 10 minutes. If you apply a level of effort, the contact lasts for 24 hours.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think, where we'll level set for people's familiarity, right, is, I think everybody is familiar with kind of folk magic, granny magic, that kind of
Okay.
stuff. They may not all believe in it, but at some point in your life, probably everyone has gone to a granny for something. A step above that, where I think the player characters here mostly are, is a kind of a solid belief that there's not just folk magic, but actual supernatural something. Could be haints, could be boogers, could be whatever. But just as a matter of course, you're accepting of that.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you wouldn't be startled when someone speaks in your head for the first time in 10 years.
Yeah.
And then where we are not at yet is this whole, from the podcast, right? The whole backdrop of like deeper things and older things. And,
Okay.
the cosmic era, I think, has not yet revealed itself to basically anyone.
That makes
Got it.
sense. Yep.
No, that does make sense. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the explanation.
Yeah, that's a great question.
I was like, I
'Cause
don't know
I had the
where
same
my
thing. I was like, I don't
baseline
know.
is here. Right.
I'll be
Sorry for
honest, I
throwing
didn't-
my X-Men shit at you all up
Yeah.
without any
I
fucking.
love it. But like,
I
even
didn't
with
look
the
too
hair
close at
going
your
white, I
sheet.
was like, do we all panic? No, we're just gonna like take her. Got it.
Yeah.
So
No,
apologies.
people are definitely concerned. Like normally you don't go to a party and
And shit like this happens, but this isn't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we just all lost X amount of sand with it. Okay, got it.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So that's an interesting. There is not a sand mechanic in this. It's just, you may take damage to your pools or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
nope, perfect. So Bucho,
So-
one more time. What did you just say into my head? Now that I have that down.
I was just like, Janice, what the hell's going on? What is happening here?
So Janice, I was getting ready to kneel in front of somebody, and then I was like, my hip and my leg don't do that apparently anymore. So I'm coming back, and I'm getting ready to ask, like, are you experiencing any? And I hear the voice, that familiar voice, and I immediately respond, "You didn't write to me before you came into town."
I wanted to surprise you and Dion. Also, I didn't know if I was going to be coming, to be fair. And then that turn came up, and I was like, well, okay. Kind of a spur of the moment decision.
I stop and I turn, and we're probably like opposite sides of this party right now. So the fact that I'm speaking to you in my head, but like I'm gonna stop and look at you like across the crowd. You've been here for 20 minutes. You haven't even stopped to say hi.
I wanted to see how mad you were. I wanted to test the waters.
That
If you
wasn't a
didn't
great
want to
play,
speak to me, I would have understood.
I'm not mad, Clark. I'm hurt. There's a difference.
That's fair.
Right now, and then I'll just quickly run him off the stats. It looks like if she's spoken to 15 people, how many have been affected?
Yeah,
right
like
now?
5, like a third.
I'm still working my way through the crowd, but it looks like maybe a third of us have been affected by something similar to some type of advanced aging.
Tell me how to help.
It
What can I
started
do?
with Effie, right? In that song, did you notice the change?
That
The
was
band couldn't keep up with her. They didn't know the song.
that was my guess too. Yeah. And then as soon as she stopped playing, it seemed like things stopped deteriorating. So that's, I'd say, a pretty good guess.
So my guess, and I shrug from the other side of the room, it's either the music or the instrument. It'll have to be one of those two things, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to keep checking in with the people here. I'll cycle back to you soon.
Okay. I'm gonna keep an eye on the instrument.
Yeah, I think that's a
Great.
good call. And then I'll continue doing my circuit.
All right. And Clyde, I think you were on a mission, right? What was your mission?
I was going to go find the gentleman who tweaked the fiddle.
Excellent.
If I can try to find out where he was staying, and actually, I'll see it first of all if he's at the party anyway.
He is not.
Just kind of.
Yeah,
he's
you're
not.
able to
Okay.
you're able to determine that pretty quickly.
Okay. Probably head to the nearest boarding house.
Sure.
Just kind of get a lay of the land to see if he's like out smoking or anything like that. Have I seen this gentleman before?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. So you've left the party, right? You're poking around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in the interest of this being a one shot, the first boarding house that you come to is Gilman's boarding house.
Okay.
Which is one that you know pretty well. I mean, you haven't had to stay there necessarily, but it's got a reputation for, pretty no nonsense kind of place. It's not one of the other kinds of boarding houses, which are fine, but this is not that kind of place. A lot of miners stay here, and the reputation is they can work twice as hard and twice as long as those who've dined elsewhere. It is run by Ruth Gilman and her partner Biddy Connor. Ruth is a tiny woman with a big dress and a big voice. And Biddy is so nicknamed because of her size. She's about 6 feet tall and about 6 feet broad, and nothing Biddy about her. And you knock on the door, and Biddy's out at the dance, but Ruth is there when you get there, and she opens the door and looks at you for half a second and says, "Oh, you looking for somebody, Clyde?"
Well, yeah. First of all, I brought the tonic that you asked me to make for you. I have it in my little bag here. Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet of you. Thank you.
What you need to do is just rub it on your hands, and in about a week or so, you should see that wart go away.
Oh well, she looks around a little bit. She's like, "Yeah, that's good. Thank you."
I didn't want to bring it with anybody around.
Yeah.
I know how things
taps her
sometimes.
nose in kind of a funny way. But who are you looking for tonight?
There's a gentleman, I guess, just blew into town. Kind of does a little fix it here and there of like musical interest. He wouldn't be staying here, would he?
Oh, you mean Mr. Bales?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He's been in his room a couple days now. I haven't seen him, but he's upstairs on the second floor, third from the left.
Third from the left. Would you mind if I go talk to him a little bit?
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Much obliged. And he'll make his kind of way past with a big smile on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Trying not to look overly concerned and kind of head up the stairs. Not knowing what this gentleman is doing while he's going up there, he's going to like pull out a little piece of cloth, put a little ointment on it, and I'm going to use Jag of Luck, just in case.
And pretend, for those of us unlike me who haven't memorized your character sheet, remind everybody else what that is. Don't remind me. I already know.
You already know.
Okay.
Of course.
You already know. It's basically a piece of cloth with a dried bit of frog blood on it.
Oh, nice.
I place the Jag in my left pocket for a bit of luck. So the next time I fail a roll, I can choose to re-roll it without spending experience points.
Cool.
Using experience points. Yeah.
Nice.
So it basically gives me a free re-roll.
I'll give you a free reroll. Yep. That's fair.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right. So he'll kind of do that real quick on the way up, not knowing what the situation is.
Sure.
Because, Mom always said, you got to be ready for anything. And just kind of dust himself off a little bit, look presentable, and knock on the door.
All right. No response.
He'll wait a certain amount of time and then knock again, just to be on the nice side.
Certain amount of time later, there is no response.
You'll try the door, see if it's locked.
It is locked.
It's locked. Okay. All right. Don't think I have anything. So he is going to just kind of look around and kind of put his ear up to the door and see if he hears any noise.
You hear a faint sound A couple of faint sounds you hear, like a little bit of like the springs on a bed, right,
Mhm.
wiggling a little bit, and you hear kind of like a
Hmm. Okay. Um, knowing what he knows about this boarding house, is there a window on the outside of where he believes his room is? I mean, if you look from the outside.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're asking me for a chance to break your neck, by all means, there's 100% a window on the
Well,
other
We
side.
celebrate these options for you.
Yes
Yeah.
and no.
We love this for you. We love this
We
for you.
love this for you, friend.
One of the cool reasons I chose this character is because it has beast shape, which
Oh,
means
shit.
I can turn into like get the aspects of a certain beast, using some tonics and things like that. So what I was hoping was to maybe get like aspect of bat or something that would be inconceivable at night, but just kind
Please
of be
do
able to
that.
fly up. And I
Yes.
will. Let's see. All right. So let me see. Gain the asset. Let's see if it tells me if I need to do anything.
We are a very
Um,
strange comic book cast for sure.
We are.
For sure.
I'm into it. I like it.
Yeah.
Jimmy Olsen and three weirdos.
Yes. Rename the game.
So it
But
it
it's
also
always
gives
Jimmy
me
Olsen
a-
that gets turned into shit. So.
It does, doesn't it? Or like the red shirts from Star Trek. Hey, Captain, I found something. All right. So I will try to use that to give me like the essence of a bat, so I can kind of fly up and just kind of look in and see if I can see anything in there.
Yeah. So now I don't know if you have to roll. I don't care. I want this to happen. You tell me what this looks like. Tell me, what do you look like? How does it work out for you?
Basically what he does is he'll kind of get into like a little small area and reach into his bag, mix 2 or 3 things together and take a quick drink, kind of like Dr. Heckle, Mr. Jive, Dr. Heckle, Mr. Clyde, or you know what I'm talking about.
Mr. Clyde.
But I was thinking
Dr. Heckle and Mr. Clyde.
Yep.
I was thinking Dr. Heckle and Mr. Jive from
that works too.
But anyway. And
all of that.
You just hear this cracking sound as his body just starts to morph down a little bit into like almost to a small version of Man Bat, and he'll just kind of fly up and just kind of land on the windowsill and just kind of peek in and see if he sees anything.
Yeah, and you see there's a man curled up on the bed, and he's kind of shivering. He looks sweaty and pale and thin and all disheveled, and looks up at just the wrong moment and sees your kind of half man, half bat face at the window and says, "Oh, damn!" and like scoots back on the bed and falls out onto the floor, and he's like half covered in a blanket and he's shivering and like scooting back up against the wall and staring at you. He's like, no, and it ain't real. It ain't real. You can hear through the window with your bat ears.
Yeah. Kyle just kind of look at him, kind of get a lay of the room. Does he see any like bottles open or any book, anything that would kind of give him a clue of what this guy's been doing?
There's a plate that's empty, and a bottle, a glass, like might have had water in it, but all that stuff is empty. Might have, so he's eaten at some point, but who knows when.
But nothing that would tell that he's sick or anything like that, other than kind of the way he looks.
Yeah, there's no like obvious piles of vomit or anything like that.
Okay.
Maybe some subtle piles. I don't know.
Okay. So what he'll do is he'll just kind of just stare at him as long as he can and just kind of leap off and kind of fly, because he's probably already attracted a little too much attention than he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And kind of fly back, as best he can towards the convention that's going on.
Okay.
We're going to need some assistance in this, I think.
All right. So let's, just in the interest of it being 20 after 8, let us briefly summarize how you gather the gang together. So you tell me.
Do I know everybody here?
I think so. I think we can posit that you guys have traveled in the same circles, right? We can.
Okay. I would just kind of walk up to each one of them and just kind of whisper what he just did, not minus the turning into the bad thing, but that he's gone over to try to talk to this gentleman. He did get a chance to look in the window. He looks kind of sick. There's something else going on, and he kind of needs everybody's help to just kind of figure it out because he really doesn't want to go this alone.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We can help.
I could certainly speak to him. Would kind of love to know what's going on for sure.
Yeah. I'm not good with words like you are, Carl. I kind of see what's going on, but being able to come across, and I just seem to put people off most days.
A little hinky, it's fine. We'll get it done. Yeah, we'll get it done.
Don, I figured maybe you've seen this in your writings or something like that. Janet.
Well, I've seen a few things. This one's a little weird.
And Janice, you know everybody. I mean, everybody loves you. So, if there's some reason Carl can't get in, maybe you can talk to him. And Donald, you've been traveling, you've done all the writings and everything. Maybe you've seen something like this before. I don't know. It's kind of got me baffled.
Yeah, I can certainly take a look at him.
Well, he's staying over at the boarding house. He's in his room. At least he was a little while ago.
Okay.
We should probably catch up with them sooner rather than later before he hits the road again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, immediately.
Oh, I got an idea, and I will grab a plate of food from the potluck.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah. Everyone gets a plate.
Everyone gets a plate.
Everyone gets a plate.
That's the Stoniga promise.
So if Donald is grabbing a plate of food, she's going to absolutely have to compliment it with one of the world-renowned apple stack cakes.
Yes.
Probably do
Absolutely.
two just to be sure. Hey, Clyde, what else did you see when you looked through the window in the room? Did you see if he had any other weapons, or if it looked like anybody else was sleeping in the room with him, or how long he had been there?
No, I kind of startled him, I think, before I kind of slipped down. But the only thing I saw, he had a plate. It looked like he did eat something. There was nobody else in the room. It just got a feel. It's one of those things you just get a feeling that something's wrong. But it didn't show anything. I didn't see anybody lurking in the corner or anything like that.
Okay. Let me run home really fast, get my gear. I'll meet you guys in 10.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Great.
And I'll run off. By the time the little bird of a woman comes back, she has her machete and her shotgun, which everyone knows here
Wow.
she is very, very, very good with. But it's also like her carrying around a machete and a shotgun that's sized appropriately for a little bird girl is almost as common as seeing somebody walking around with an overcoat or
Sure.
a walking stick. Like, it's not alarming because it's what she's constantly got on her.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. But the four of you, when you get back to Gilman boarding house, Ruth does kind of quickly take in the four of you and sees that you're, wearing your not all that unusual tools, but just kind of looks up and says, "Doing all right, folks?"
Yeah, we just we want to pay we brought a plate of food for my gentleman friend, and I'd like to go up and speak with him again, if you don't mind.
And she looks at Janice and says, "Janice,
Hi, Miss Ruth.
everything all right?"
No, ma'am.
No. Don't you bullshit me now.
I wouldn't, Miss Ruth. I wouldn't. No.
Is my boarder dead? Do I have a dead boarder upstairs?
No, ma'am. Not as
No,
of
ma'am.
maybe 30 minutes ago. I can't promise it's going to stay that way, but I'll give you my word. We'll do everything we can.
He seemed a good man.
He
I
might
hope
be.
He is.
It's still very possible.
If you kill him, you got to make good on his rent.
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
All right.
I see the town has not changed that much since I left.
That comment doesn't ring the funny bell with Janice. There's almost a look that she looks hurt when Clark says that. Like, I look over to make eye contact with him long enough for him to know that comment hurt her on an intimate level, but I don't articulate it as much as I just like, ha ha ha, it was a funny comment. And like, Janice is like, after what you did before you left, that wasn't actually funny, but I guess here we are. I look wounded more than like resentful about it, though.
Bridgett, you cut to the quick of me so often.
Yeah.
I love it.
Baby, I don't even know what the fuck happened in our backstory. I love that we're building it one line at a time.
Not a fucking clue.
No idea.
We'll figure it out in the sequel.
Are you angry? What do I have to be angry about? I don't know. We'll figure it out in the talk back, I guess.
We're going to fucking figure it out for sure.
Let's go.
And here we are. We are standing in front of this locked door. And what are we going to do about it?
Janice, do you want to take point or would you like me to?
You can take point. You're better at talking. Why didn't we just get a key from... Gentlemen, hold on for just a moment. And then I'm going to run back downstairs and ask her for a key. Miss Ruth, may I have the key, please?
Of course.
Thank you, Miss
I don't know
Ruth.
why I didn't think of that.
I will trade her.
Because you can turn into a bat.
It's so easy. It's stupid.
Yeah, when you can turn into a bat, everything looks like a bat.
Right.
Yeah.
I will grab the key. I will trade her for one of the apple stack cakes.
Yeah.
I like bats.
Compliments of Miss Effie. And then I'm going to head back upstairs with the key.
She says, as you're heading upstairs, she's like, "Oh, I'll save half of this for Biddy." And then she says, laughs her, says, "No, I won't."
I do find that funny. That's adorable.
And you're back up, and the key does work.
I'm gonna knock on the door and say, Mr. Pollard, my name is Clark Lee Stanley. I grew up here. We have a key. We're coming in. We mean you no harm. We'd like to bring you a plate from the community center. So I'm coming in with a plate.
Okay. Let's have a level 3 intellect task here.
Evan, can I assist
Yes, sir.
on this?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay, so while Janice was going down and getting the key, I'm going to talk to Carl and have mentioned that I think this might be a similar situation to cases I've read about in journals called shell shock, because it's like 1920, right? We have developed the polite terminology.
Yeah.
Okay. Try to keep our voices low, no sudden moves, things like that. I'm going to give him a little bit of good advice and spend an intellect point to activate my good advice ability.
Nice.
So you have experience in determining the best way to proceed. When you give another character a suggestion involving their next action, that task is eased. So it's one step easier.
Cool.
Nice.
And so as you relate, the best way of comforting people with shell shock, right? That lowers this then a further step down to a level 2. And so you've got to roll a 6 or better on a D20. Make sure you're rolling a D20. I've seen how you roll.
It's all D20s, dog. It's all D20s.
We've got this shared dice roller. We're all staring at it with...
Waiting for it. Hey!
Ooh.
All right. That is a 10, right?
Gonna have some words with this site after this game is done.
Roll with friends who's struggling, honey.
Yeah, and so there's about a moment after you tell them you're coming in, you've got a plate of food, you don't mean him any harm. And he says,
one hand up in the air, the plate it's very obvious that I don't have anything other than the plate.
Yeah. And he's backed up against the wall. But he says, all right, come on in.
Are you okay, Mr. Pollard?
Oh no. I am the furthest thing from okay. You're real, ain't you? And he goes to poke your arm.
I'm real. You can poke my arm. That's fine.
All right. What's on that plate there, friend?
Ooh. I'm gonna just put it in front of him. I don't know what all was at the community center. I don't know what all got put on the plate, but having grown up here, I can tell you this town knows how to cook its ass off.
Here we go.
It's all gonna be good. So Please eat up.
And he tries to like make an apologetic noise, but he just grabs like a biscuit and just goes to town.
Yeah.
I will sit somewhere away from him, unthreateningly. I'll just
Great.
cross my legs and just wait for him to finish eating.
Yeah, and he he looks at you like he knows that this is socially not the greatest thing in the world, but he's too hungry and exhausted to care, so he appreciates you not commenting on it. It's cool. And when he's finished, he leans back. He's just too exhausted to get off the floor. Says, what? Why are you here? If I can be blunt about it.
Well, we've had an interesting occurrence happen at the dance this evening. I've never seen anything quite like it. In fact, not an hour ago, my hair was pitch black, and it is now super white. So, we determined that somehow a particular fiddle playing a particular song.
And you don't even have to go farther than that. As soon as you say the word fiddle, his face collapses and he buries it in his hands and he starts to weep.
Please understand, we're not angry.
It's all my fault.
We just want to know what's going on.
Oh God. And he has like a moment where he's just completely like lost in remorse and grief. But eventually look his face a little bit. He's got, still got grease from the food on his fingers.
I'm gonna whip out a kerchief and pass it over to him, and also kind of scoot a little closer, but still sitting down, just like getting the moment a little more intimate.
Yeah. And he, and he talks. He says, I travel all up and down Virginia. This is my trade. I build and repair instruments. I love the sound of them, the beauty they bring into the world, And I was coming here to Stonega to see what I could do. I took a shortcut. I thought I would save myself a little time, and I came up through those woods on the south of town. And then I was just lost in these laurels. And Donald, that's going to ping for you because you have steeped yourself in the lore of the area, and you recognize instantly that he's talking about a place that people around here call Jimmy's Hell.
Oh,
yeah. And that is not just a normal woods. This is what's called a laurel hell. It's a giant patch of laurel trees that are so thick, so enormous, so twisted together that it's like its own planet. It's got time doesn't pass there normally in the folk tales. In fact, it's named for an old timer named Jimmy Beckler, who thought that his favorite hog went in there, and he went in after it. And 6 days later, the hog came out, but Jimmy never did. So if it's those woods he's talking about, then it definitely makes sense that he could have gotten lost. And he says, I was in there for days or weeks or months. I thought I died half a dozen times. And it's going to sound silly, but I came across a giant tree and it talked to me. And I was sure I was hallucinating. I was sure I was paying for my sins on the way to meet my maker, but it told me, the tree told me how to get out. And it says all I had to do is take some of her wood and use it in some instruments and spread some of her voice.
Oh.
Did the tree say what this would do, or what did the tree get out of the deal?
Oh no, she was just being kind. And he looks a little bit shifty. Maybe he's sick. Maybe he's being a little shifty.
Yeah, I've got a particular skill called Here's the Voices. Oh, you know what? Nope. I'm a liar. I can't use
Okay.
that. Nope.
Okay.
I can use that. I am trained in detecting falsehoods.
Okay.
There we
Mm,
go.
All right.
Nice.
And what does your
Alright.
skill do,
Um,
or your
it
ability?
just
Oh, here's the
says
voices.
sometimes the voices whisper to you, telling you the secrets of others, giving you a sense of how they think, what they dream of, and what they fear. You're trained in one of the following tasks: persuasion, deception,
Okay.
intimidation, or detecting
Cool.
falsehoods.
Yeah. So you are
detecting
trained,
falsehoods.
and you are on the scent that something he's saying is not exactly true. And you can roll, to dig into that if you'd like.
I would.
You can use persuasion, you can use intimidation. Something you've got a skill in there is fine.
Yeah, just trained in detecting falsehoods is the only one I've got out of all of those.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you're aware that he's definitely holding out on you.
Mr. Pollard, just a quick question. How many other pieces of her bark, of her wood, have you put in other instruments other than Miss Effie Thomas's?
Just the one so far. The rest are in my bag over there with the tools.
May I have
May I?
those, please? And the second Clark goes to say it too, she immediately backs down.
What you gonna do with them?
Well, we certainly can't have them go into any other instruments at the moment. I mean,
yeah. Listen, I may not have told the entire truth. There's a little bit of a catch.
Okay.
So you're with me so far, right? Giant tree talking, right? Magic Woods, we're okay that far.
Yeah.
So
Clark Lee crosses his leg again and settles in. He's like, yeah.
Okay. So if you laugh this off, this ain't never going to get better for you. You understand? That tree made me make a promise to her, and I have not kept that promise, and I am now in no condition to keep that promise. So what I'm telling you now, this is going to be on you. You understand?
Are you asking me to promise to fulfill your promise? Is that what you're asking me to do?
Yes, I will ask you to be my agent in this, and you will do this on my behalf.
No, I will not.
Okay, then I guess we're all in this shit together.
Again, what does the tree get out of this with you putting this wood everywhere?
So she told me that the wood would show me the way out if I would return and free her. If I'm being honest, she did not ask me to spread it around. She gave it to me as a means of escape. But she is a prisoner, and she wishes to be free. And then when I did not hold up my end of the bargain, I used the wood to fix Miss Reeves' fiddle. And then I started to feel sick, and I started to feel weak, and and here I am, holed up here, shivering and crying ever since. And I'm in deep, and I got family waiting for me and back in paradise. And I'd like to get home to them. So maybe you could, I don't know, take it back to her, or help her out in some way.
I have to tell you, Pollard, I don't know that I have much of an allegiance to a tree that is ruining the lives of people in this town, whether accidental or not, but I have a feeling it's not accidental.
Well, it's, I mean, to the extent that a giant tree can be angry and feel double crossed, I suppose I don't blame her. But hopefully, maybe she, if she's done this to you, she can undo this to you. I don't know. That's all I can say.
I'm going to turn to the rest of the group, kind of look at them like, what do we think?
I don't particularly want to make a promise that we can't keep, but
no.
I mean, if there's a chance of reversing this or at least stopping it from getting worse, I think we've got a bit of a responsibility to do that.
Even with my understanding magic skill, would I kind of detect or maybe understand, try to figure out what type of magic this tree has been using?
Yeah, so with a little bit of context,
Mm-hmm.
from the story, this starts to feel more like a curse to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And curses, in your experience, at least with the magic of the grannies and what you've learned, curses can be lifted.
Mm-hmm. Have I ever heard of a curse like this?
Not exactly like this, not
Mhm.
not one that ages people, and not one that's set on them by a giant talking tree in the middle of a possibly magical
Mhm.
forest, but it sort of slots into that taxonomy.
Mr. Pollard, do you mind if I just ask you just a quick recap of just everything we've gone through? I'm not as well traveled or fancy as some of us in the room. I just want to make sure I have a clear understanding of what happened. Is that okay?
Yes, yeah. And he says it again. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
no,
ahead.
I want to make sure you were traveling for work.
Yes, ma'am.
You took a shortcut basically that landed you into Jimmy's hell.
Yes, ma'am.
You were lost for an indeterminate amount of time, which makes sense if you were in Jimmy's hell. We understand that. You came across a tree who offered you a way out. Am I clear up to that point?
Yes.
She gave you pieces of bark from her and said use these pieces of bark to guide yourself out of the forest, and in exchange, once you were out, you're going to come back and free her?
Yes. That's the size of it.
Okay, now this is where I start getting slightly confused. Did she specify the terms of what it means to come back and free her? Were you supposed to bring back a device or a spell or a person or a ritual?
Um, I was well, she is there doing a job. She is as much a warden as a prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm supposed to find a way for her to pass along that responsibility, which is not necessarily to you. I don't think that you can take over in that job, but I think that the ability to find that is beyond me, and certainly I'm too cowardly to go back there, if I'm speaking truly.
I really appreciate you acknowledging that so I didn't have to say it to you, because you're exactly exhibiting all the traits
You
of a
can
coward. So,
you
two
can
things
call me a coward all you like. I've made peace with that.
you are, Mr. Pollard. Two things I want to clarify from at least from this point. Um, if the wood pieces of the bark got you out of the forest, why on earth did you put it in musical instruments? Why would you put it in that fiddle?
Well, it's a nice piece of wood. I mean,
Okay.
you heard it resonate.
Okay. Why didn't you yourself go back and free the tree? Did you get distracted? Did you decide to renege on this deal? What stopped you from going back and fulfilling your half of the bargain?
Because I have been in there and I am scared to death. As much as I have been in this room, shivering, crying, getting ready to face my maker, it is better than what was in there.
My very
But here
last
we
question
are.
for you, Mr. Pollard. How much time elapsed since you escaped the forest to today? How long ago was it since you were there? Is this a week? Is
Um,
this a
I'm
month?
I'm going to say like a week. Let's say he got out, made the fiddle, and then immediately fell sick.
And then she is going to look back at the rest of the group as if I have done my due diligence to the extent that I'm capable of doing.
On the one hand, I kind of just want to pick the bag of wood up and leave, and then just set it all on fucking fire. Because I have seen things turn people bad in many towns across Virginia. I have seen men easily turn to do awful things when given the chance to do so. This could make others do bad things.
Well, it's definitely a curse.
Mhm.
So there's some reason that this person was cursed to begin with, whether it's for a job or something that person did, but something invoked the curse on this person.
Well,
Now, whether
he admitted it, didn't he? He didn't hold up his end of the bargain.
Yep.
So the tree is cursing him for not coming back to free her.
We should talk to Miss Odessa. Maybe
Hmm.
she knows more about that part of the hell. Maybe she might have some insight. She may not know what's going on right now, but maybe she knows something about the tree.
she knows a lot more than what she lets on. Believe me.
Sure.
Okay, that sounds
Mm.
good. Quick question for you here, GM. Given how he looks right now at the end of a week, I know I didn't see him before. Do I think he'll make it through a night, 2 nights, another week, another month? How fast is his deterioration?
If somebody keeps him fed and watered, maybe gets into the hospital, he can probably hang on.
We have acquired a plant.
Actually, I might be able to help him a little bit. I have this ability called Perfect Remedy. With the right herbs, words, or ritual, I can restore 1d6 to one stat pool from any creature within the immediate range.
Oh,
that's great. Yeah,
and NPCs targeted by this ability regain 1d6 health points as well.
Great.
So
I've also
it cost me 1 intellect point. So
okay. Well,
I've got
very
something.
kind of you.
I've got something I can do as well. If we wanted to, like, if I were to stay here while somebody interviewed Miss Odessa, I could do this. It's Midsummer Bundle. Pass the bundle over someone while reciting a prayer of healing. It restores pool points equal to the cipher level. Any of their injuries caused by a witch, the cipher restores all of their pools to full.
Okay. Yeah. That's got to be caused by a witch, though, right?
I don't think it says it has to be caused by a witch. If the injuries were caused by a witch, then the cipher restores all their pools to full.
Right.
Yeah. But other than that, it's equal to 1d6 plus 4.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. However you want to do it. We should possibly skip to the getting in trouble part of the evening.
Oh, for sure.
Somewhat quickly.
For sure.
I like that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Just GM putting the thumb on the scale real quick, but like, oh shit, it's 9 o'clock.
Nope, I love it. Let's go.
Let's smash go on the turbo.
That's where.
So, all right. So I think without spending a ton of time on this, if you're going to go chat with Miss Odessa, just tell me what you want to know, and we'll kind of zip through that bit real quick.
First, if she's ever heard of this tree,
Yeah.
why would the tree be there, and how do we find it, and how do we kill it,
Or how do we free it?
or how we free it? Yeah.
Yeah. And she knows, she has seen the tree once when she was a girl. Not close enough to talk to, but she says, from a number of points in Jimmy's Hell, you can kind of see it towering there. She says if it is imprisoning something, killing it may be unwise, unless you're ready to deal with whatever's being held prisoner.
Got it.
So, she says she can't help free it yet until she knows the nature of what it's doing there.
Okay.
But she says once you find that out, if she doesn't know, she's got friends a couple states over who might know.
Okay. How do we get out of the woods without making a deal with something else? How do we not get trapped in Jimmy's Hell?
That's a great question. It potentially, if the tree can help you, it'll help you. If you don't want to make a deal, she can offer you some bags that may be able to help with navigation.
Okay, perfect.
She's got a couple leather bags that have like magnet filings and raven feathers in them and stuff like that.
We would greatly appreciate that.
Cool. So we can do that. Any other questions? Any other prep? Are we all bought in on the premise of going and getting in trouble? Do we need more convincing?
Oh no!
We're good to go.
I'm on board.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then let's take 3 to 5 minutes.
Okay.
And I'll meet you back at the entrance to Jimmy's Hell.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, I'm smart. We're going on a 3-minute break.
We are going on three.
Okay,
3 to
I'm
5
smart.
minutes.
I'm smart. I'm real smart. We'll see you guys in a minute. We'll be right back.
All right, be right back.
I think
Okay,
we're good.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I think we're good. Yeah. So we are, thank you for waiting, everyone. We are back in Stonega, Virginia. We're actually back slightly to the south of Stonega, Virginia, along the back of Stedler's Farm, where a falling down barn has created a little bit of an entryway into the Laurel.
Okay.
And you are so you're south of the town, but at the north end of, this area that we call Jimmy's Hell. So tell me what you want to do.
Well, I think I've got
Um,
the bag. I think I've got the bag of wood. I think I've brought it with us.
Okay, that's good.
I'll be carrying
All right.
the navigation bags to help get us in and out.
Great.
I've
I
got a
will-
crazy idea.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I'm sorry. If I could use another B shape, turn into like one of the red wolves of the woods, take a sniff of that wood, and see if I could track us to there.
Oh,
my God.
shit. That is intense. Yeah, let's do that. I will basically
I
never
love
say
that.
no.
Hell
to
yeah.
this. Yeah, I will never say no to anything with B shape. Is there like some kind of
Okay.
downside here? Do you like risk
There,
becoming a
it's
beast forever?
a level
or-
1d6, it says, and that's really it. I mean,
All
there's
right.
certain things I can't do. I can't fire a gun when I'm in
Sure,
like full
sure.
wolf mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darn.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I mean,
Yeah.
gun wolves are cooler, but whatever. It's fine.
Gun wolf.
Exactly.
I don't make
I
you feel
personally
bad.
agree.
But if we can't have a gun wolf, I guess you'll have to do. Go ahead.
All
Yeah, do
right.
your thing, man. Do you do it like in
Okay.
front of everybody, or you go off like for some modesty
At this
somewhere?
point, I'm just not going to worry about it. So I'm just going to, I'm among friends,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Who
So-
have not, as far as I know, ever seen a human being turn into an animal.
Probably not.
With
But time is of the essence.
so friends, we don't have a sanity mechanic, but do react for me a little bit, if you would. Yeah.
So what he does is he'll take the powder and just kind of mix it again. And this time he'll start rubbing. Looks like some sort of red liquid when it finally finishes bubbling. And you can see his form just kind of shift down, his nose start to grow out, and he'll just let off this big howl as the transformation happens. He'll get a good sniff of the air and kind of walk around to the bag of wood, get a good smell of that, and just kind of point in the direction he's going, and he'll start heading up in that direction.
Great. Yeah, and you get a good smell of that wood, and you initially have a good scent of what's going on, but
Mhm.
where it's leading you, there's no path. You
Okay.
get maybe 15, 20 yards in. Go ahead.
So I'd like to help out with that
Sure.
by doing a little bit of human pathfinding. So
Mhm.
supplementing his pathfinding with some human pathfinding, because I have Wilderness Explorer. While taking
Here we
any
go.
action, including fighting in the natural world, you ignore any penalties to natural causes such as thick grass, brush, rugged terrain, weather, and so on.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, and that's going to work for that gets you, past the first little barrier, right? You're able to kind of find a way around it. It's like, okay, if I lift this branch up here and duck under this one, then our wolf friend can scoot through and we can go. It does not get you past the second one, which looks alarmingly like the first one. And you are a wilderness guy. You kind of know, one tree from another. And you're like, didn't I just go here? But when you look for that little get around, it's not there. You, Clyde, still have the scent, but it's through this barrier. And Janice, one of the bags that you're holding is kind of buzzing a little bit, almost like your cell phone is vibrating 100 years in the future. What do you do?
Is there a way to maybe dig under it?
You can try and dig under it.
Well,
I'll begin to do that if I can.
Okay.
Pollard said that this wood helped him get out. So I'm wondering if maybe it would also help us get in.
Okay.
So I'm going to pull out a couple of sticks of it and see if there's any action. Do they vibrate? Do they feel like they're pulling one way or another? If I hold them out as a divining rod, basically.
Yeah. And it does. It kind of swivels, if you're holding it loosely. But it's pointing you right at that same direction.
Standing next to Clyde, using the navigation bag in a similar method.
Yeah. And everything is kind of telling you where to go, but there doesn't appear to be a way through it.
Is there a hollow in the trunk of this tree?
Which tree? There's 3 dozen of them all tangled up together.
We're not. Sorry, that was Bridget's misunderstanding.
Yeah, no, that was me not describing it beautifully. There are a lot of trees, and they're all tangled up. And where you have come to at this point, they're almost kind of forming an interlocking thing here.
I'm going to do something stupid.
Yeah,
I think it looks impassable, and Carl, being the traveler that he is, I think he would probably just do a kind of leap of faith. And I think he would just close his eyes and just walk towards the wall and assume that maybe we're just not seeing the opening and the opening is just there. Maybe we're being fooled. So he's going to try to walk through it as opposed to through it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And you go with your eyes closed, right? And you get to about where it seems like it is, and you feel not enormous trunks, but you feel kind of vines. You feel like walking into a rope at waist level. You feel like a flower kind of brushing your cheek. And as you do this, you continue forward and the vine snaps. And 2 things happen. One, the rest of you who presumably do not have your eyes closed see that indeed the path is now somewhat clear.
Okay.
But the sort of tendril that has snapped now writhes up in 2 snaky looking vine things and attempts to grab both Carl and Janice. And you will both need to make a level 4 speed defense roll. And Janice, as you start to get out of the way of this thing that's reaching for you, your hip is acting up. right?
it
You got
would
the old
be.
arthritis. It's coming back.
It would be the disrespect.
So
you
this
know
is gonna,
Janice with the hip.
yeah. So you are hindered on this, my dear Janice.
Okay.
Which I think, Carl, does that bump it up one? Is that what happens when you're hindered?
Yeah.
Okay.
Every hindrance bumps it up one difficulty level.
Okay. So where we are right now, Bucho, you'd have to roll a 12 or better, and Bridgett, you'd have to roll a 15 or better to escape being ensnared in this thing.
Would I be able to use my pocket knife against it? It says that if I use it, it's eased and it causes 2 damage.
Yeah, great. So you are going to roll against oh yeah, right. So so you're going to ease it. Okay, so that'll take it down to level 3. So you're going to roll against 9, and then potentially causing damage as well.
Okay.
And I just wanted to clarify: am I hindered or am I impaired?
Hindered.
Okay.
Nice. So I got a natural 20.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And
Nice.
I'm also as I fucking reach out to stab these vines, I scream out, "If you want your wood, you gotta let us in."
Quote board. Someone throw it on a Symphony quote board immediately.
If you want your wood,
That one's gonna sit with me for a while.
Put
That's
it on
not
the
going
Symphony
away.
board.
If it lasts for 4 hours, you better call your doctor.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Carl or Evan, talk me through the speed pool thing to reduce the difficulty again.
So,
go ahead, Carl.
Can I make a suggestion? So, Bucha just rolled a natural 20, which in a non-combat situation can let him choose to give a major benefit.
Okay.
Great. Let's
so
roll with
it's
that.
kind of like a narrative benefit. So if you want to let him do that, in a combat situation, he could cause 4 extra points of damage.
Yeah, I'm not really thinking of this as combat so much as a series of discrete things that are happening.
Okay.
Fair.
So let's let you help her out. That's what we're here for, right?
Yep.
I love it. So what does that do for me mechanically just before I start spinning points?
Carl.
Oh, it's okay. So what's the base? What's the base difficulty level?
So it was 4, and then she was hindered to 5.
To 5. Okay. So you're starting with a 15. Do you have any kind of training in like speed defense or dodging or anything like that?
Not from when I just looked at super fast. We're looking at like my special abilities.
Skills in the bottom left-hand corner.
Intellect, defense, snap, initiative, practice with weapons, using magic. No.
Okay, cool. So you're looking at 15. Evan, how much is Bucho's natural 20 worth to you?
Yeah, let's say that takes it down 2 steps, right? That seems like a nice thing.
Cool.
Is that a significant major benefit?
That's a huge benefit.
Was that
cool.
6 points drops, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So your difficulty 3, so you're looking at a 9.
9.
Beautiful. And if she absolutely positively really wants to make this roll, I can pull out of my pool to drop it by down another 1 that would bring it to a 6, correct?
Yes. Yeah, you could spend 3 points out of your presumably might pool.
Yep. Speed pool for this.
Speed pool for this one. Okay.
Speed pool for this.
Okay. Then that is what I will do. I am going to hurry up and roll, and thank God I did that as an 11.
Yeah,
Hell
nice.
yes. Hell yes. And even on your gimpy hip, you are able to kind of wriggle out of the way. Carl kind of knows that you're going to struggle and reaches over and gives you a kind of a boost, tugs on the elbow, and you're able to get away. And then the vine just kind of like, after it misses you, it just kind of falls dead.
Hey, Evan, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, it's not even you. I want to bother Bucho because it's one of the things that I wake up in the morning and live for. Where do you actually grab her, Bucho? Where does Carl grab Janice? That's where I want to know. Was it just on the elbow? Yeah.
Was I grabbing?
Well, that was my. If you want to help her in some other way,
I would say that not even thinking about your hip, I think he would probably almost like go to grab you like around the waist and like as if to pull you up onto his shoulder to get you out of the area.
Okay.
That's what Bridgett wanted to know. Thank you. Carl's face is delightful.
Great. And you are able to continue along for a little bit. Anything you want to do that isn't just like walking along through a bunch of gnarly old laurels?
I want to try and map the place.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, good call.
Okay. So you do. You've got your notebook with you, right? And you're mapping along, right? And you come to a fork, right? You're gonna go left or right?
Is there a particular area that the smell is greater, the left or right?
Let's say it's off to the left.
Okay.
I'll start heading down that direction.
Great.
Clyde, how much longer do you think we have? And I understand that this is in wolf form, so I'm not getting,
How long has this taken us, by the way, just time wise?
How long do you feel? Certainly feels like it's been maybe an hour so far, right?
Okay, so after an hour, then I automatically shift. I think it's only for an hour anyway. I just shift back.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, the smell was growing in clarity as you were going along.
Got it.
Okay. Then I'll just when I was smelling Janice, it looks like it's this way. Kind of dust himself off.
Okay.
Sudden craving for Alpo. Okay.
Of all things, Alpo.
The Alpo.
I love it.
So
Yeah,
Breakfast of champions.
I'm not taking the lead anymore because apparently I have an inability to navigate, track, or identify plants and animals.
Well,
Good. You're the right guy to bring along.
I am the right guide. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're going along, and you hear a rustling in the trees off to the right. And before you have a chance to really think about it, this gigantic, relatively gigantic, for an animal shape, crashes out of the trees, stands in front of you, and you are confronted with this ancient boar, grizzled gray, enormous. I've never seen a boar in person, but I assume that they're quite large with the tusks and the beady little eyes and whatnot.
Yeah.
You almost, I think Donald, I think it was Donald, right? You have the affinity for animals, right?
Yeah.
And you almost have this ridiculous notion that he's wearing a crown. There's these laurel leaves around his tusks and his head. And you're like, would it be ridiculous if I knelt down at this moment? Yeah, it probably would. But you kind of the thought is there in your head. That you have stumbled into the realm of a king in his kingdom, and he does not look happy with your intrusion. So I'm going to ask Donald, what do you do first?
I am actually going to give in to that desire to bow down.
Oh.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Because I have an ability called outside the box. So when you take a round to study the problem that you want to tackle, you come up with a solution that has a decent chance of succeeding. You gain an asset on your next non-combat encounter. So I think he'll freeze for a moment and like look at the boar and then remember from his books of probably not books at this point, because it's probably like you get told what to do if you run into a boar in the
like
woods.
Black bear get big, brown bear get small.
So he's gonna do that, but also kind of try and combine it with like a bow.
Yeah.
Oh.
As if he's greeting royalty. I don't know if it's gonna work, but
cool. And you do that, and he steps towards you. He is unhurried, walking not like a predatory animal, because he's not, but like something that is absolutely at home here.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes over and and you feel the tusk scrape against your cheek, and he sniffs you. And I want you to
Oh shit.
make an intellect roll here.
Okay.
Against level 4, right? Because we're using our brain here. We're not trying to
Yeah.
fight him or run away. But I believe your studying of the situation, right, gave you an asset here.
Mhm.
Right? So that would be level 3.
Okay.
It's totally up to you if you want to use effort. We can imply what might happen if you fail. But
I'm going to use effort, so I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Okay.
So I'll spend 3 points of effort to bring that down to a difficulty 2. That effort is going to be represented by me slowly and very deliberately reaching back into my bag and pulling out one of the apple stacks that I pocketed earlier.
Yes.
Love a good callback. Love it.
Yes.
and there's this really like nauseating moment as you do that, and he starts to lean past you to sniff this apple stack, but as he does, the tusk like presses into your face, and you have this moment of saying, "Oh God, I fucked up."
It's rough enough; it probably cuts a little rivulet of blood across his cheek.
Does. Yeah, he gives you a close shave, baby. But you have rolled a 10, is what you have rolled, and so he continues going, and he shoulders you out of the way. As though he were, let's say, a 600-pound boar, and you were a normal sized 19-year-old person. And you're
so let's say
a gentle nudge for a boar, but I go ass over cheek up into the nearest bush
on the ground, and he chomps that thing in like 2 bites, turns, and you will swear until your dying day that the trees opened up for him to create a path, and he zips into the woods and is gone.
Oh, thank God. Everyone in the world loves those apple stack cakes, honey. Listen.
Yeah.
They are world renowned.
I owe her a lot when we get back in town.
Yeah.
Yep.
That has been our currency for every NPC this whole game so far. The only thing we didn't offer those cakes to were the vines.
That's right. Yeah, that was your mistake.
Feeding people and solving problems. That's what we do, y'all.
Listen.
That's what we do.
So, you press on, or are we giving up?
No, we press forward.
We keep
All right,
going.
you press on. You come to another split. Which way do you go?
I will defer to my teammates because I can't lead.
Can I see the wood chips?
I'll show you the wood. Yeah.
Are they... That's why you left 10 years ago, wasn't it? Are they spiraling? Are they spinning? Are they?
The only thing more silver than this tongue is this tie, baby.
It really is like a dowsing rod. You just hold it lightly. You go, okay, go over the right. It stays up. You go over to the left. It goes. You're like, okay, that's cool. And you go that way.
Yep.
And you travel along. And according to the map, Donald, that you've been drawing, you should have just crossed your own trail.
Oof.
But this is not where you want to be. You think. I mean, the hell do you know? But this is not where you should be according to the map, which is fine, except that I'm going to need Carl, who is not the guy you necessarily want in the wilderness, to make let's say a level 4 speed roll.
Level 4 speed roll. Okay. I'm going to spend some points.
Yeah.
Spend 3. And that takes me down 1 level, correct?
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Sorry. You know what? I screwed that up. You explicitly said you were not leading. Right.
Correct.
I was picking on you because you suck at this, but actually, to be fair,
no. Let's say that my dumbass has stopped paying attention to myself and decided that I'm going to try and lead.
That's perfect. Yes.
Just because that's how I'm built.
Yeah.
Like
possibly because like Donald stopped and he's like, wait, the map's all fucked up, right? And then Janice is like, let's take a look at that or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And cool. All right, so go ahead.
All right, so we were looking for a sorry, what was the original?
It was a level 4 to begin.
12. So it's a 9 now. Okay.
And
Nice.
That'll do. 12 will do.
And you're walking along, right? You have this sickening moment when you realize there's nothing beneath your left foot.
oh,
You look down and you don't know how you missed it. How the hell did you miss this? It's like 6 feet across and it's so deep that in the kind of beginning twilight, you cannot see the bottom. But with maybe the one piece of luck in your entire life, right? You managed to sort of throw yourself backwards.
Whoa. Everybody stop. Everybody stop. Everybody stop. And then I will point out the hole.
And now, of course, it's obvious. I mean, I don't know how you guys missed it. You really ought to do a better job of looking out for these things.
right. Those are
And how big is it?
6 feet across. If you creep up to the edge and peer down, you're going to look about 20 feet down until you see, there's animal bones, possibly some human bones down there.
Ooh.
Is there any way to circumvent it around the sides or no?
Tell me how. The trail part is covered by this hole.
I see. Okay.
You've got some options. There's trees and such on the side.
I mean, I think we got to go over, so we might have to monkey it a little bit on either side of this hole. If you guys are up for climbing.
Janice, are you up for climbing?
Oh.
I mean, at least it's upper body, right? I'm fine. Whatever we need to do. She starts massaging that right hip.
Yeah. Well, you can definitely do it as a might roll. That's fine. So that's not, you
small
can.
victories.
Yeah, you can do it. So are you guys just straight climbing into a tree, getting around there, clambering?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
not like super high off the ground or anything,
No.
but like just enough to get by this thing and get back onto the trail. Yeah.
Cool. This is easier than not falling into a hole. Let's say this is level 2. This is, pretty straightforward. It's like a really low rock wall, you're just like, do.
And this is might you want?
This is a might roll. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, no.
No, that's good. Janice.
Oh,
No,
boy.
I spent a stupid 3 points.
You did. Okay,
Yeah.
so I took it down to 1, right?
Yep.
So
you're
okay.
good.
Donald,
Cool.
however, is a situation.
Oh, Donald. Oh, I missed yours, buddy.
Yeah.
Donald is a
Donald.
situation for
Yeah,
sure.
I think I'm still a little wigged out from the boar. I got to be honest.
Yeah. The boar and the crowns.
Yeah. So you get, 4 of the 6 feet across, right? You're home free. You maybe you're celebrating a little prematurely in your wigged out state. Place a foot wrong, and next thing we know, you're down in the hole.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Tell me real quick, how do I damage you? I'm not actually.
Oh,
How do I hurt you?
Unfortunately, your luck has run out. Also, how do I kill you?
How do I do I
So-
just say, hey, you're dead, or
I mean, you could do that. In that case, it's basically it'll damage one of my pools
Okay.
by an amount that you choose, basically.
Oh, a standard number. So
Yeah, so usually for like level 2, it could be like 3 or 4 damage. That kind of
let's just say
Okay.
three off the might pool then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ouch.
You are down on the bottom of a hole, but it's not a total loss. There is a $5 coin, which is company script for the mining company.
Oh, neat.
So you've made out there.
you made out there. Small victories.
Human bones if you need those for whatever reason. But
Those can stay.
Oh, Jesus, Donald, are you okay?
I'm good. It's just I just twisted my ankle a little bit. Hang on.
Do you see any way to help get you out of there? Does it look like it's an easy climb?
Doesn't look too hard of a climb.
And I'm going to scramble
You
as
wanna
quickly as I
out?
can to get to the other side to try to help Donald out.
Sure.
Mhm.
You want another mic check to get out?
Yeah, but you can get assistance on that if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And again, it's the distance, the 20 feet is more the issue, right? It's not like you can just reach up and someone can reach down is the only
Mhm.
challenge here.
Yeah, I do have 50 feet of rope, so I could throw the rope up.
Oh,
to them and-
naturally.
There we
Mhm.
go.
Well,
Yeah.
Can't ever
now
can't ever
we're
shake
cooking
the-
with gas.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Role playing
Uh,
began in the dungeons, and so everybody has rope. So
Yep.
all right. So with the rope, I'm actually not gonna no need to roll for it. I think, with
Okay.
your friends
Okay.
helping you out, you can get up there.
Cool.
Can you grab me some of them bare bones while you're down there? I kind of need them. Thanks.
Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah. And they're definitely not like nice, clean white bones.
No.
Oh no.
Still with stuff on them, and like there's like a
Ah.
slug that falls off as you pick it up.
Even better.
Yeah. Good old slug.
Mhm.
And you get up and you turn to go back on the trail. And you see over the top of the trees is well, you're not sure. Janice, you see an ash tree, and Carl, you see a red oak, and Donald, a yellow poplar, and Clyde, you see kind of a willow waving in the breeze. But the salient point here is that it's about 1,000,000 feet tall. Like, I don't know how you didn't see this. You probably could have seen this from Tennessee. This thing fills the entire sky. It is enormous. But it's not quite where you are yet.
I believe we found the tree we're looking for.
Didn't realize.
I'll
it's gonna be
say.
little.
That is definitely more imposing than I had pictured in my head.
If I look at just the faces as we're all commenting on the tree, are we all looking in different directions? Like, are we all
Probably.
No, it's definitely
It's like
it's
somebody
def-
like, oh wow, what's that? And someone else like this.
Sort of. You are. It's a little strange. You are looking in different directions, but then when you need to agree where to go, you kind of all agree
Okay.
where to go.
And the bark agrees as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The bark is how do I put this in a way that Pucho's not going to run away with, but it's kind of quivering.
Nope. That's
I know.
not the
I
answer you were
know.
looking for.
Would
So-
you say that the hardwood of the tree is throbbing?
I would not say that. Only a juvenile, immature person would say that.
That this tree is positively turgid.
No, I would also not say that. You people disgust me.
Cursed speaker is what my title is. Cursed speaker.
And Symphony's thirst has been activated for the 5th time tonight. There we go.
No, it's our defense mechanism. It's how we do it.
Really going on a limb on this one. Okay.
Wah, wah, wah. Leave me alone, would you?
Oh, boo.
Branching out our way.
You so you know kind of where it is. It's
So
not where
bad.
you are yet. You know kind of which direction to go. What would you like to do? What are we doing?
We're going to the tree.
We're going
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, the tree.
Oh
the
my
tree.
god.
Except you get about 30 seconds in, you're starting to sing like we're off to see the tree, really getting the montage going here. And then it's dark. It's just night. It wasn't, and now it is. And there's crickets, but there's also like owls, but there's also voices maybe, and rustling, and just things out in the woods. And suddenly you don't know where you are. And suddenly you are so goddamn tired. What do you do?
Mm.
I'm going to encourage my people.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I maintain this ability through ongoing inspiring oration. My allies within short range ease one of the following task types: defense, attack, or tasks related to any skill that we're trained or specialized in. So I'm basically trying to keep everybody awake. It's like I'm that annoying dude in the car who's sitting in the passenger side who's constantly changing the radio station to make sure that the driver is like not passing out. That's what I'm doing right now. I'd be like, there was this time that Janet and I got into a fight many, many years ago, and because I know that's just going to light her the fuck up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so this is what I'm doing as we're walking, feeling tired myself.
Yeah. And so everybody keeps going, you're shaking it off. It's like falling asleep at the wheel. It's difficult. And Clyde, you're walking along and you just feel like your steps are really dragging. It's just getting harder and harder to walk. And you look down and it appears that your right foot has sprouted roots.
Ooh.
And is planting itself in the ground. That can't be right, can it?
No. Can I try to figure out what kind of magic this is to see if I can counteract it?
Sure. Let's do that.
Right.
While you're doing that, Bridgett, you're enjoying a brief moment. There's a cool breeze that comes up and blows through your leaves, and you're really enjoying that for a second.
I'm sorry. That shouldn't have been as funny as it was to me, but it really was. I'm present. I'm here.
I'm here. I love it. Yeah. Clyde, so are you using an ability, or are you just trying to puzzle?
It's a skill. I want to try to understand magic. I am specialized in it, actually.
Cool.
So
So let's make that an intellect, and let's say with the use of your skill, that would just be a level 2. So it's a 6 or higher on the roll.
And my edge, I have an edge 1, so it'll just bring down to a 1. Is that correct?
Is it correct, or does the edge only come into play when you're using effort?
You have to use effort.
Okay. I'll just
okay.
I won't use it then. Okay.
Come on, don't. Yes.
All
18,
right.
So I'm good.
All right. Beautiful roll. Yeah, and you don't know the ins and outs. You couldn't reproduce this, but you're convinced that whatever it is causing hallucinations.
Okay.
And when you realize that your foot is not actually rooted to the ground. You're just kind of experiencing that as a sensory trick.
Ouch.
Y'all try to pay attention and not drift off, because it's using some illusions around here. I just thought my foot was turning into a bush. That ain't happening.
So it's probably not actually dark then.
Possibly not. The sleepiness it feels real.
Don't do that. And when you go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just and when you say that, you all kind of realize, shit, yeah, it's not actually dark. And the unnatural fatigue wears away, but
oh God, no. Okay.
Is sorry. No, I briefly, my internet fucked up for a second.
Whew,
sorry.
You're good. I thought it was
Oh
me.
God, no.
Oh God, no.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, I did something. The point is, right, thus being back in daylight, you look up and then you stand before the actual tree, the real tree. It is waving. It is not it. I mean, this really strikes you as a she, right? She's just kind of broadcasting this feminine tree energy out into the world. There's a breeze. Her leaves are shifting. Her bark is kind of waving and then peeling and then growing again. It's a little hard to look at her, but it's also hard to look away.
Yeah.
And she speaks, and she sounds tired, and she sounds worried, and she sounds like your mama or her mama or hers. And she says, "Welcome, children. Hope you didn't have too hard a time getting here."
Well, it wasn't easy. But we're here now.
Well, what brings you out here?
Well, the wood from your tree has been causing a little bit of problem in our town. And we came to find out how we could get that to stop.
Let me take a look. And the tree kind of bends over, and it's like this enormous, filling the sky, but you have the impression that it is actually bending over to peer at you.
Janice
Says,
will hold up the wood chips.
I just gave
Yep.
those to that man, didn't I?
You did.
Well, I suppose he's not coming back.
No.
Okay. So what? So you what? So, I see. So you've been caught, I suppose, in the consequences of that. Yes. Well, I'll see what I can do for you, but I'll need you to help me also. And when she says that, Carl Lee, you know how you sometimes hear voices?
Mm-hmm.
You know how you sometimes experience things inside the privacy of your head?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
What is something that you really want? Like really want? Like it's your birthday and Christmas and Santa's here.
I think Carl Lee travels because he's looking for a place to put down roots.
Mhm.
Like he's looking like, to others, it might look like he's out enjoying the travel when really he's looking to find someone to settle down with.
Okay.
Like he's hunting for a partner.
Okay. So you hear in your mind while the tree is talking to you, you hear a sound like an infinite number of dry, papery legs, and they're sliding through moist flesh. And there's a whisper that feels like it's dragging on your brain. And you can understand it if you just give it all of your attention. You can make out what it's trying to tell you. And I want you to make a level 5 intellect roll.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend some points on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this becomes 12. Oh boy. Nope.
Okay, that's a 10. And of course, you're not in the laurel hell, Carl. You're not encountering a giant tree. You're not aging prematurely. You're back home. You're at home in Stonega with your wife and your children, and it's getting on to be evening. And, you're sitting, the kids are playing in front of the radio, and everybody's having a good time. And you're telling your wife about your day, and she's telling you about her day. And, you just have never felt this loved and this fulfilled in your entire life. And we'll leave you there for a minute.
Okay.
Boy. Oh,
It's
boy.
not the worst place to be left, right?
It's not. It probably is.
And the tree is talking to all of you, not just to Carl Lee, and says, I forget where we left off, right? But it was, something about undoing the curse. Yes, I was a little upset at the man for running away like that, but surely there's something you all can do to help me.
What is it exactly that you're looking for, ma'am?
Oh, Yes. And if you've never seen a tree lean back and put its hand on its
Oh
heart,
yeah, that's exactly what it looks
you know,
like.
purely metaphorical, but somehow really communicates it with the branches. She says, I'm not really a tree, is the funny thing. I was a little thing. I was a creature of the muck and a creature of the mud. But they needed me. And so they turned me into a seed, and then they turned me into a tree. And they told me I had a purpose. They said, we're placing this creature, this dark thing beneath your roots, and you are to hold it. And so I was bound to hold this thing beneath my roots until it is, until it's destroyed, or until some other way can be found to cage it. And the young man that was here said he would do that, and so I gave him some help to get out of here. Told him I'd grant his wishes too if he had one, but I suppose he's run off. But if you would be so kind, there's really, I mean, I've enjoyed being a tree, but I'm very much happier going back to that little creature that I was.
Ma'am, I know it's a very forward question, but could you specify what this small dark creature is, or what this dark creature is that you are holding?
Well, it is called, or it calls itself, the Cindering. And Janice, when she says cindering, there's this little extra susurration, this little extra whisper in the back of your mind. And I'd like to know, what does Janice want most in the world?
It'd just be such low hanging fruit for her to say Carly. That would just be like such low hanging fruit. I would be disappointed in myself if I didn't say Carly at this point.
Yeah.
I know I can do better.
That's,
but
you know,
I
what?
feel
It's
like low hanging fruit is low hanging fruit.
9:45 on a weeknight. That's the best we're gonna do.
Let's go.
So they're now stuck in the same vision.
Well, let's
then.
see. So again, that sensation of a million centipedes crawling on your brain.
Ugh.
A stink bug flying and flapping on the wet meat of your skull.
Oh, that
Jesus, dude!
how you feel?
Fucking, you got me and Carl with that one.
Monday,
God damn.
Yellow light, red light. We okay?
Oh, green.
Yeah,
green.
we're fine. It's awesome. It's just Jesus.
It's just Jesus.
On toe shift.
Haven't you heard? It's 9:45 on a Monday.
On a Monday. Jeez, Evan.
Woo.
Yeah, work
Right.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
Good God.
let's make that level 5 intellect defense roll, if you would, and then we can stop talking about stink bugs and skulls, millipedes. Millipedes have that glossy look to them. Just imagine how that would feel sliding right up here.
You're still on this, I see. All right,
Yeah.
look at you. I'm so excited for us. Okay, so I have a bunch of shit geared towards intellectual defense, but I don't know if
let's
these
use
things on
that.
my sheets are already factored into whatever. But
Nothing is factored into anything. Tell me what you want to use, and we'll add it if it's
all right.
appropriate.
So for the sake of, hey, let's speed this up, I'm just going to throw shit at you. You let me know if it sticks at the wall. You are trained in intellect defense and initiative task enabler. I have no idea what that means.
Okay,
That brings it down to 4.
that takes it down to 4. Train brings it down 1. Yep.
Okay, look at God. You are trained in intellect defense and tasks and have a +2 armor against damage that selectively targets your intellect pool. Does that matter?
Let's add that too. What the hell?
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
I have an ability called You Are an Intellectual and don't have to make this roll.
Okay. Tell me.
Don't buy that bullshit, Evan. Don't do that today.
That's not in the book.
Oh, okay. All right. I
Okay.
see.
I
You're
don't think I
lying to
have
me.
anything
That's
else
cool.
intellectual
All right, cool.
to-
So
Okay.
let's call it 3. Let's say level 3. You can roll above a 9. You've been doing it all night.
And it's great. And what I'm going to do is, because I
You
don't
wanna
want
use
to fuck
effort?
around with this tree any further, I'm going to use some effort to drop this down to a 6.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
thank the Lord on high, I only rolled an 8.
Oh my
Wow.
God. Fantastic. So you feel it trying to get in, and you are not fooled. You know.
I'm not, because I know that Clark doesn't want to be home and he doesn't want to be with me. That is
Yeah.
a lie that she
Yeah.
is pushing at me, and I
So
know
that
that.
sucks, and I'm sorry. No. But you also know that it is not the tree. This is a different voice.
Oh, the cindering.
This is not the tree trying to get inside your head. This is something else. something insectile and parasitical and burrowing and nasty and enormous.
You know what? I'm going to jump right out in front of it. So after I'm able to at least fight that off, shake that off, I'm going to step forward. Ma'am, what is this creature doing to us? I can feel it inside. I can feel it crawling across my brain. I can feel it pushing something that I can't have at me. What is this?
That's what it does. It offers you everything in the world and then takes it away. And at that moment, Carl Lee, you are not home with your loving wife and your beautiful children. You are back here and you are choking with your longing for what you just had.
Oh,
Ouch.
You can barely breathe and you hear that voice, that chitinous voice in your head, and it slides up into your ears and says, "Set me free, and you can feel that way forever."
Carl Lee is going to parlay that choke on the wanting of the thing that he just had so briefly, and he's going to turn it into fucking anger.
Mm.
And what he wants to do is called shake the bones of whatever it is that is talking to him in his head. Like
Okay.
he's focusing all this fucking anger at this now. He's like,
Yeah.
no, bitch. Your words are so powerful they cause the bones of a creature to shudder and shake, inflicting 2 points of might damage
Holy moly.
and
Wow.
2 points of intellect damage. Your
Wow.
target must be able to hear and understand you, or at least understand the gist of what you're saying, and I guarantee you it fucking understands the gist.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this thing has bones or not, but like that's what I want to do with this thing. Like I want to just unleash hell.
Yeah, so this is not going to be easy. This is, this. I mean, you're going up against a thing here that essentially is, essentially it's a level 7.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
so make it good, make it stick. Obviously, a level 7 you can't beat just pat, right?
Yeah.
That'll be a 21.
Yeah.
So let's talk through this, right? Let's use our tools. Let's see what we got.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the countdown.
Okay, so I've got the one edge. I've got a pool of 11 left. Oh man. I could spend 2 points to do Hear Me Now, which projects confidence, knowledge, and charisma to all for the next hour, which also gives me I gain a free level of effort that can be applied to one persuasion task. Well, that's not really
not really this though.
That's not this.
Yeah.
God, I really don't have.
You don't have to succeed. It's okay. Like,
Right.
it's a cool moment anyway. Like you've already
Yeah.
This is true.
broken
this
out of
true.
this, you're out of the spell. So like,
well,
it's okay.
And how many of my pool can I spend at one time?
So you did unfortunately lose 5 of the pool from being damaged by its previous attack.
Holy
Okay.
shit.
When it did get inside of your mind, that sucks off 5 of your pool there.
That is fair. Well, then let's just use the last 6 and bring that down.
Hell yes. Take it down from 7 to 5, right?
Yep. And I've got nothing left in the pool.
Oh shit, babe.
Carl, did you yell this out when you're doing this? Are you yelling what you're doing, or just the words?
Yeah, I think I'm yelling it. I'm loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think this is a form that Janice has never seen before. Like this is an anger that like has never shown itself.
Yeah.
With Clyde's understanding of magics, he doesn't know exactly what's going on, but he kind of gets a feeling that it's something bad. So what he's going to do is take that little luck handkerchief from his pouch or his side, pour the rest of his tonic on it for it, and I guess it's level 4 I'm going to shoot for, and try to create enough luck to give him a level 4 reroll if he needs it.
Okay. I'm looking at Carly's not saying no. So yeah, good.
This is what I'm trying to do.
I get what you're going for. So is this a cipher
Okay.
or is this an ability?
It's a cipher.
Oh, so the cipher just works at the level that it is.
Oh, okay. Well, it says 1d6, so I didn't know what to expect on that.
Oh, so, some ciphers adjust their effects based on the level that they are.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so does he need to? Sorry, I don't want to get super bogged down in this, but does he need to roll a d6 and then we apply that to the other thing, or how do we do this like quickish?
No, so it sounds like the cipher just lets the person have a reroll.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay,
I
so
didn't
forget
know if
about the
level made
1d6.
any
We'll
change.
deal with
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Cool. So
okay.
we'll do it. We'll roll twice. We'll basically
Yeah.
take the.
And you're trying to take 15 or higher, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
There we go.
First time.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll do
That's
it.
fantastic. And so tell me like what you yell at him. I don't think we got to the cool, like dramatic part of this.
I don't think there was. You know what? Because this dude also speaks in tongues, so I don't
Nice.
know. I don't know that it is anything that anybody would recognize as being English or understandable.
Yeah.
I think it's just it's almost like all that anger has made him speak in abyssal, right? Like
Yeah.
we're talking D&D languages,
Sure.
like
Mhm.
it's something that sounds possibly demonic, and it's just being fed right back to the tree.
Yeah. It just sounds at the like the tongue of Mordor. It's
Yeah.
just
There
gross.
we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like it.
guttural and gross, and like rock being rubbed against rock.
Yeah.
And this just tears itself out of you, and you all feel the ground shake, and there's this really it's not a scream, it's certainly not a scream from underground, but what it is like a really angry cicada,
Yeah.
but like a billion times shriller and louder. And so the ground is shaking and leaves are coming down from the tree, and this thing is shrilling in your ears, and the tree says, okay, but maybe don't do that.
That's fair.
I've got to hold him here. Until we've found a way to deal with that, that was difficult.
What's the downside to killing it?
Oh, just that it's got to go through me, unfortunately.
If we free you, does it free this thing or does something take your place? How does that work?
The way that I can do this is you can find something else to hold it here. Or hold on, sorry, I completely forgot what I was said earlier. Oh yeah, or until it's destroyed. But if I let it out so you can get a shot at it, I don't love your chances.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something real stupid.
This is the way. We're at the 11th hour right now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I think he's got a lot of emotions going on inside him. Carl Lee does.
Understandable.
After that, both of those moments, both the real one and the fake one, and having realized, like, yeah, he wanted to take up roots somewhere. I think he would go, I will hold it if you take care of my people. Because at this point, I think he would also think, I wouldn't mind torturing this thing for a couple hundred millennia too, if need be.
That is incredible. And she kind of leans back again with all the creaking of wood and the rustling of leaves. You don't mean that.
Yeah.
You do mean that.
Every word.
Why would you do that kindness for me?
It's what I've been doing everywhere I've gone. Why not do it outside my hometown?
Well, if you're sure.
No, I'm not even 100% sure at all. It's the craziest damn thing that's ever come out of my mouth, and that's saying a lot just today. So
That's also true.
If that's
it feels like the right move.
what you want to do, I can help your people. Okay. Okay. And she lowers a branch down to each of you. And there are these big broad leaves on it. And she says, when you get back, write down one thing that you really, really want on this. And it will happen. Now you have to write carefully. Don't, leave any room for misinterpretation. I'm not the wisest thing in the world. But if you make it clear, I can make it happen for you. One thing, each of you. And she looks at you, except she says, well, you can have two. But I'll need yours now. And this other thing, and she gives you, Janice, she gives you a walking stick that she kind of grows out of herself. This will lead you back. I didn't expect you. I apologize for holding you up on your way in, but this will take you out safely.
No, our apologies. We should have announced ourselves on the way in. It would have saved both of us. And she's upset and not dealing with it very well, so she just doesn't finish that sentence.
Yeah. Carly, if you're sure, and she holds out a branch to you.
Can I say goodbye?
Of course.
I will go up to Donald and I'll shake his hand. Thank you for this. It's going to be a good story for you.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will believe it, but I'm never going to forget it.
I'll go up to Clyde. It was very impressive what you can do. I had no idea.
Mama taught me a trick or two.
And then I will go up to Janice and I will say, just promise me that you'll do for me what I couldn't do for you, and that's come visit. And then I'll kiss her on the cheek and I'll head to the tree.
And she puts down, like willow, right? Just soft, gentle leaves around you. And she whispers, she says, I wish I could say this wouldn't hurt, but
Oof.
you get used to it. And when he acts up, just give him a kick. He'll quiet down again.
No problem.
And Carly, tell us what happens. Tell us how this looks.
I think as I reach out to grab one of the limbs, it's almost like a transfer of power or energy between two figures. Like I become kind of like golden light and then go into the tree, and there's another color that comes out at the same time. So it's just this smooth change. I don't know who comes out. But I think you see the tree, whatever it looked like before, it takes on a more silvery hue in different places because of his tie.
Nice.
So it's like it's not completely silver, but it's just
the birches or those silver maples type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. And so the where Carly was is now not. But you do see on the ground a little, almost like a chipmunk, or like the spiritual embodiment of a chipmunk. And it looks around for a moment and expresses gratitude to the extent that a primordial chipmunk spirit can, and disappears into the trees. And yeah,
In your heads, you all hear a very like, it's not a satisfied sound, but it's like, oh, well, this isn't so bad.
nice.
And then the boughs kind of shake in the wind a little bit.
Yeah. And as you all notice that your ailments are healed and your skin is back to its youthful self, I think we'll leave it there with a promised return home.
Nice.
Ooh.
Good job. Good job.
Nice.
Good
dude.
job, Bucho.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Bucho.
Hell yes.
I cannot wait until this talk back. And that, friends of the Symphony, is where our show ends for the night. Thank you to everyone who joined in and or is currently watching the replay. You guys are indeed the best part of waking up, and I appreciate you spending time with the content. We will be back next week with Called to Account, which is another Cult Divinity Lost. We're big fans of Cult Divinity Lost around here on Symphony.
Yes, we are.
Oh, honey, this is going to be run by GM Sue Savage, who is legendary for her cult games. And if you notice from this cast flyer, Bridgett is not on it. And that is because Bridgett is running production only. I will not be seen. I will not be playing. I will be in the background and allowing other really brilliant people to step up and handle their business. So we have backer Matt Doc Tracy, who is going to be stepping up as a first-time host.
What have you done? What have you done?
I've unleashed
my dear
the Doc.
Yeah, just remember Doc chose this.
Poor Doc.
Oh, a cult game, and Doc Doc debuted with a cult game, and we had a full sex scene live on stream. So listen, Doc got it. Cast and crew, we are going to take a brief break, and then we're going to come back for the post-symphony gala. So check out the cast and crew's impressions of the episode, possibly meet our pets, and we'll talk about how Bucho broke everybody's heart during this one. Broke. If you'd like to hang out with us on Discord, there's a link in the chat, or you can go visit us on the website, and I just hit my face on the mic, at symphonyentertainment.com. Before we empty out the auditorium, let's go around one more time and say goodnight to our symphonic cast. Give us your name, where to find you, and what you do, starting with Skip.
All right. Well, I'm Skip. I go by Skip's the Keeper on Discord. I'm kind of all over in Symphony. Love jumping into games here and there. The more games I can play, the more games I can learn, and the more fun that can be had. So that's why I'm here, supporting Bridgett in all her needs. And it has been a blast doing this.
Whoo!
Thanks
Skip.
for being here, Skip.
Oh my God, Skip, per usual, thank you so much for being here. Carl, who didn't have to GM this game, but kind of did in the background. Hit us with your pluggables, baby.
Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Carl, Fizzlemeyer on the Discord server, their house Carl on Instagram, and yeah, thank you. This was a lot of fun. It was nice to be in the player seat for this.
Shut up, Carl.
That wasn't a dig.
Guilty conscience is forever.
Is that what
bothered.
it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit dog will holler,
Yes.
honey. Hit dog will holler.
That's it. That's what I was thinking of.
Bucho, the heartbreaker, hit us, baby.
Heartbreaker, love taker, love maker. I'm Bucho.
Breaker.
You can find all of my art, my DJ mixes, my books, this is my LinkedIn, my blog, blah, 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 all on my link tree in the chat. I'm constantly updating one or all 5, 6, 7 things that are happening there. I am frequently found here on the Symphony channel doing sonatas and breaking hearts and doing mad narrative shit. So, yeah.
Mad narrative shit needs to be your new handle on Discord. Oh God, mad narrative shit. Evan, hit us, baby.
Yeah, I am Evan Perlman. You can find Dreamhouse and other things that I've written on Drive Through RPG by searching for Evan Perlman. You can find me around the Discords, primarily in the Symphony Discord and the Miskatonic Repository Con Discord. You can find me on Facebook. Years old. You can find me not as much on Twitter. I'm kind of like taking a break from Nazis for a while.
That's fair.
But
fair.
you know, Stories Colossal if you happen to be on Twitter, or you can find me by going out into that patch of woods outside of your town that people don't go to and just wait and something will happen. You'll know it when you see it.
Ooh. We hope you guys have enjoyed the Symphony, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Have an absolutely wonderful night, guys. Bye.
Good night.